Hello everyone, how you doing? Hope you're having a good, what's today, Wednesday? Hope you're having a good Wednesday. Oh boy! Alright, let's get this out of the way. I pinned it in Twitch chat. You're not allowed to celebrate or promote violence against anyone. Indifference is okay. You're allowed to be indifferent, just like Charlie Kirk is every time children get shot in the face. But, yeah, no promoting, violence, anything like that. AP is reporting that he is in critical condition. I'll be honest, I'm surprised he's still alive, because I saw the video. I saw it up close, and it was like a crazy shot. Like, I saw a video that was close up, and right, it was like a shot here or something, and it's like his artery got nicked or something. It was genuinely fucking crazy. I would not recommend you look at it. Genuinely, it's traumatizing. You might be watching a person get killed. It's not a good thing to look at. But yeah, it's just interesting how he has consistently had the rhetoric, and I know it's been going around already, but plenty of videos of him saying, well, gun violence and people being murdered via gun violence is just the price you pay to live in a society where people are allowed to have guns. So I frankly find it incredibly hypocritical that any right-wing person or anyone makes a big deal out of this. He himself said, whatever, it's just what it is. You know what I mean? It's almost like he really didn't mean that. He just meant he doesn't care when other people get hurt. But anyway, we'll see what happens with that. No matter what, the ramifications of that are going to be pretty extreme, I would imagine. I hate to say this, here's hoping it's a white Christian guy who did it. Alright, with that out of the way, if there's any updates, you can let me know, but, like, this stream isn't about that, so I'm not gonna belabor the point. It is what it is. Let's do what Charlie Kirk would have wanted. Move past this tragedy immediately without thinking about any of its ramifications or what it means about our society at all. Anyway, so tinfoil. We are going to be doing tinfoil today. I am so sorry I haven't been around as much recently. I've been busy. I had the surgery. I got really sick. And then yesterday I had to work. But for the rest of the month, I should be much freer and we should be able to do streams much more regularly, as well as I'll be finishing up that video, which I was planning to finish, but then I got sick. So I'm sorry, the MedBed video is coming. Tomorrow I'm blocking off a bunch of time just for editing. I'm going to be editing not my footage, but the footage of the MedBed people. I call it, like, clip loaf. I assume there's an actual industry term, but I call it clip loaf, because I basically take all the clips I might potentially use and I put them into a supercut, or multiple supercuts based on topic. And then I'll use those supercuts periodically through the rest of the editing. So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, other than also stream. What else? If you're on YouTube, do me a favor, like the stream. It is September, so if you want to help support the stream, you can always gift subs. They are on discount this month. Speaking of which, Stone Corbell, thank you so much for gifting 10 Tier 1 subs. Boop boop boo, Jay's a proxy, thanks for a 725 stream streak, says, I have D&D tonight, but I'll enjoy the bingo while I can. Hope your recovery's continuing to progress smoothly. It is. I'm not very sore anymore. The stitches are mostly dissolved, so things are good. Just a Peach with 17 months says, almost 118 month with no sub babies. Wait, what? Oh yeah, because 7, 8, one more month and you'll get a sub baby. What else? I think that catches us up, at least with the previous stuff. Terradona, thanks for gifting 2 Tier 1 subs. Nemesaur, thanks for gifting 20 Tier 1 subs. And, yeah, 31% to level 7 on the hype train. Cool beans. Let's jump into it. We are going to be playing bingo, so feel free to grab your bingo cards if you'd like to play along. And yeah, we can jump into it. Hydrate will do. Oh no, I didn't fill my water. There's enough for this hydrate, but I will have to get up and get some. You know what? I'll do that now before we start so I don't have to interrupt in like 10 minutes. That'll be annoying. So I'm gonna get some water. Be right back. One more thing on the Charlie Kirk thing. Like, if he does live, isn't that super fucking embarrassing for him? You spent years going around talking about how, like, any gun control is bullshit and guns are great and, like, people dying is just, like, the cost of living in a free society. Like, is he not going to be incredibly embarrassed if he lives and is like, yep, I got shot in the fucking neck. Whoopsie doodle. My rhetoric. Oh no. Like, you know what I mean? I guarantee he would use it as an excuse to try and take guns away from whoever he perceives as the perpetrator in terms of, like, demographic that he can come up with. But, like, it's incredibly hypocritical. Anyway. Oh, come on, Spokane Dog Man. Say one more thing like that and I'm timing you out for more than a day. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's one of the grossest things I've ever seen a person say on this chat, genuinely. You know what? You get an hour. That's an hour timeout. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's disgusting. Anyone who says anything like that, I'm incredibly disappointed. That's disgusting, and the fact that you didn't have the filter to know that that was completely not okay to say, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. I don't normally get this intense, but that was one of the worst things I've ever seen someone in this chat say. And, like, I'm sorry that it probably feels bad right now, what I'm saying to you. You should feel bad about that. Learn a lesson. Bittergrin, thanks for 57 months. Okay. So, let's jump into it, shall we? And don't email me. Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyway, let's jump into it. So in New Zealand, there was recently some children were found that had been kidnapped by their conspiracy theorist father. The father died in a shootout with the police, and the children were recovered safely. But now a lot of New Zealand conspiracy theorists are defending him. It's not great. So let's check this out. Steve of the Q, thanks for 59 months. Appreciate it.
Well, it was a bloody... I was making sure that no one's watching. It was a bloody sad day yesterday, hearing of Tom Phillips's passing. And no doubt there's going to be a lot of conflicting opinions about this. One thing to remember, guys, like, please keep your eyes open. Like, you know, this is also an opportunity, for police and the powers that be to gather intelligence on who is not fitting with their, you know, with the way that they want us to go, you know, who's going to be seen.
That's sort of apropos. She's saying don't defend this person publicly, otherwise the New Zealand FBI will come and get you.
To be...
We can learn a lesson from this lady. She's crazy, but she's not wrong about the feds.
More likely to carry out vigilante activities. So just be aware, you know, when you're posting your stuff online. I'm the same. I've had to go and delete a whole heap of comments because people know where I sit on my, you know, when it comes to policy enforcers in the system, they know where I sit. And if I keep making it public, I'm putting a big target on my back. And so just remember that. And also too, like, we don't know the full story. Nobody knows the full story about what happened. There's only rumours, and that's really sort of all we can go off. One thing that we do know for sure.
I want to point out when she says all we have to figure are rumors. Oh, I didn't explain the entire context. So he kidnapped the kids that he did not have custody of, or rather, I think he did have custody at the time, or joint custody, but the wife was trying to get sole custody, because I think some of his conspiratorial beliefs. So he kidnapped the children, and they've been living in the woods. I'm not clear on if it's been a year or if it's been 4 years, but it has been a substantial amount of time that he was living in the woods with these kids like this to keep them away from the mother and public school and vaccinations. He's that kind of conspiracy theorist that, like, kidnapped his children and started living in the woods with them. Genuine, like, deranged behavior. So that's who she's defending, to be clear. Where did she go? There she is.
Sure, is that Oranga Tamariki were involved. Oranga Tamariki are pure evil, And, you know, if that was the case, that Tom was taking his kids bush to protect them from oranga tamariki, then, you know, power be to him. I think that's brilliant. I think that is what all parents really should do with their children.
She thinks all parents should abscond to the forest with their children and live in their own fucking filth. Great. Good parenting tip. Bad parenting on the bingo card?
Is take them bush. Because we look at what's going on now, and I'm seeing some comments that are just, you know, I'm really having to do some deep breathing and not get annoyed at this, because people are going, oh, you know, these kids are missing out on a chance at life, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what kind of life, bro? One where we can't tell where men are women and women are men? You know, these kids are
Oh, I see. Trans people exist, so that's why you need to kidnap children and take them to the woods for 4 years where they don't learn to read or write. I see. My bad. My fault, everyone, for existing. Bunker Cat, thanks for the raid. Welcome, raiders. How's it going? Today we're looking at tinfoil. We're looking at conspiracy theorists and the strange things they believe. I'm Hannah. We do this all the time. It's a lot of fun. We also play bingo, so if you'd like a bingo card, here's a link, and you can get your very own tinfoil bingo. First person to win tinfoil bingo and call it out and share their card with me, as long as I verify it, you get a free gift sub. Make sure you check out Bunker Cat 36 here on Twitch. Can we get a shout out?
Going to be forced vaccinated now, too, by the way. They're going to be held down and given that clot shot, you know?
Oh, she's an anti-vaxxer, too. I'm shocked. Transphobia, transvestigation on the bingo card for the trans stuff.
Tom did something pretty brilliant. He's taken them out of programming for about 4 years. So, of course, the system wants to get their hands on them and...
Yeah, as it turns out, if you isolate your children for 4 years and the state can't check that you're not abusing or neglecting them, that's actually not good, especially when there's another parent that should have access to the children that you're withholding them from.
Reprogram them and fill them with their poison. Of course they do. If anybody's going to come in my comments and disagree and call me delusional and swear at me and call me names, your comments are going to get deleted and you're going to get blocked, okay? Because
how dare you call my delusions delusional? Get out of my face! I don't know what to tell you. Don't post them on the internet then. You know how I keep my delusions from getting called delusional? I don't post them on the internet. I cope with them like a normal crazy person. Cthulhu Flower with a 7-stream streak says, if you can't handle reality, go live in the woods alone. Don't rob your children of having an actual life to live. No kidding. Bunker Cat, thanks for 100 bits. Hope your stream was good.
Because like I said at the start of the video, we are all going to have our differing opinions and beliefs and blah, 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 and you know, make our own stories up about what happened. This is just my opinion. This is my platform. Okay, and I can say whatever I like.
Don't you love how everything's an opinion now? Even, like, objectively stupid things? Like, people think you have to respect their opinion, even if it's, like, the worst thing you've ever heard in your life. You're supposed to be like, oh, that's your opinion, though.
On my platform.
Hey, fun fact, not all opinions are equal. Everyone can have them. It doesn't mean they're all equally valid.
If you don't like it, that's tough. Leave, okay? Nobody's making you stay. I feel like at the most, you know, like my sympathies lie with the children, particularly the one that was there when she watched her dad die at the hands of the New Zealand police. You know, New Zealand police.
It's the dad's fault. He kidnapped them for years. Look, I don't want things to come to, like, violence in that way. I think it would be better if the dad had been arrested and was able to be put on trial for what he did. I don't think that people should be, like, offed unless, like, there's a direct danger, which in this case I'm assuming there was. But, like, you can't blame the cop that the dad who had kidnapped children was getting aggressive with the cops when he got found.
Trained to disarm. You know, to make somebody unable to continue to do what they're doing, not to kill, not shoot to kill. They were shooting to kill. We know how evil...
If they were shooting to kill And to be clear, if this was American cops, I'd be more skeptical in general. Being that it's another country that has fewer police gun violence issues, I would be under the assumption that he directly threatened the police. He had guns with him. I'm assuming he pointed a gun at the cops or had a gun and was going to shoot them. He kidnapped his children and hid them for 4 years. He's not the most rational guy. Big Dick Energy, thanks for 31 months, says, have you seen the trailer for the new Deathstalker movie? It's starring Daniel Bernhardt from Future War and The Matrix Reloaded. I did. I'm actually excited for it. I like Deathstalker 1 and 2. I've not seen... I think there's like 4 Deathstalker movies. I've only seen the first 2, though. And I enjoy them. There's problematic elements, but it's 80s dark fantasy. Of course there is. I'm excited. I actually think the trailer looks pretty fun. Looks like the right mix of, like, tongue-in-cheek, self-aware about how over-the-top and weird it is. Excited for it.
Police officers, policy enforcers are. They are not here to help us. They are a Luciferian Freemasonic corporation.
Ooh, Luciferian, satanic and Freemasonic, Freemasons cabal on the bingo card.
Right? Cashing in on a monopoly of violence. Okay? They are not here to help us. We need to get that...
Ooh, someone read that the state has a monopoly on violence and made it their personality.
...out of our head.
It's me.
Alright? They work for the Freemasons. Most of them...
Have I seen the trailer for Jordan Peele's newest movie? No. Wait, is it the football movie? Where the football player, like, joins, like, a satanic thing? Or is that someone else? No, she's not mentioned Deep State.
Freemasons. Why do you think that the police commissioner, you know, he's got all that PDF file stuff, you know.
You could say pedophile. It's fine. You're allowed to say words. You're an adult. You could say pedophile. It's not like you're making that much money on this video anyway. Jesus Christ.
He's
producing the football one? Okay, does he have it? I didn't know he was working on a movie that he was directing. I thought he was just producing that football thing.
Been found out with images of bestiality.
Either way, I'm excited for that movie, mostly because I know conspiracy theorists will take it seriously.
And stuff on his computer. Why isn't he in jail? Why is he not in jail?
Hey, I don't know the situation with the police guy you're talking about. If they found stuff, then that's terrible, and he should absolutely be arrested and held accountable, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the kidnapper. There's nothing to do with the kidnapper. That's it.
Because he's a Freemason. Freemasons, they don't go to jail.
Freemasons go to jail all the time. What are you talking about? Thanks for the link, Amber. We'll look at it as a cleanse later.
So, you know, the police are never going to help us. The police were never going to help Tom. They were never...
What? He was a kidnapper. What did they need to help him with? He was a criminal. Just a Peach says, I posted my birthday present in the live stream chat. I am also sub-baby free. Oh, happy birthday, by the way. Let me take a look.
Ever going to help his children? That's the whole reason, you know, allegedly, why he's taken the bush. People don't just do things for no reason. There is all...
People do things for stupid or no reason all the time. And I wouldn't say no reason, I guess. Reasons that feel like no reason to other people. To them, they feel like very important reasons. They're just irrational reasons. Oh, let me see. Oh! Hold on. I'm opening the links from the birthday thing. Cute. And also, there's some kitties, which is always welcome. There was a cat outside our house today. They were very adorable. Lupine did not like it, though. Lupine hissed and growled through the window.
Always a reason why people do things. And, you know, and the thing is, it's like people saying, good job, he's dead. Like, there's a special place in hell for you, mate, because that's a child's father. And they're going to read that. They're going to come on.
Okay, lots of terrible people are children's fathers. Like, let me put it this way. My dad's my father, but when he dies, I'm going to pee and fucking floss on his grave like I'm playing Fortnite.
Online, and they're going to read that. They're going to read that these people were saying it's good that their father...
I've said that as a joke so often that it's actually ruined my actual plan to pee on my dad's grave. What a shame. Worth it for the bit, but still, that was an actual plan I had, but now I can't do it, because if I get caught, obviously they're gonna know it's me.
Is dead. And let's look at the facts here.
What happened today for that note? Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck and is probably bleeding out.
Yeah, they were found
Thoughts and prayers.
alive and well. Okay? If Tom was
Deep Lord with 69 bits says, pop it in real quick with a September 10th, 2025 reminder to be really cool and not uncool about stuff. Nothing specific, just stuff. Don't be uncool when talking about stuff on indelible platforms. Be cool, like the famous sales horse Joe Camel. Good advice.
really this monster that everybody's making him out to be, okay, those kids would not have been found alive and well, right? And it's like, and you know, this is a smear campaign that's gone on with this guy because it's like he's going against the grain and he's living his life.
Again, going against the grain, aka kidnapping his children and moving them to the woods where they can't interact with other people except for him.
His way, okay? It's in the Torah, you know, like the man is the head of the household. The husband makes all the decisions.
Oh, yikes.
He was making the best decision for his family.
He was not. He absolutely was not. He was destroying his children's lives.
Okay? And it's just, you know, like the main...
We are going to be doing a longer stream today, by the way, since I've been gone for a while, so I'm going to try and hit it 4 hours or so. Fenekagami says, important to remember, conspiracy people tend to buy into beliefs that children are literally the property of their parents, especially their fathers, so they don't think a father can kidnap their children. That's fair to bring up. Very true. I've seen that echoed a lot.
Mainstream media, who are absolute pig mongrels, they're disgusting.
Pig mongrels?
They're disgusting. I don't advocate death, but oh wow.
Fucking disgusting!
Mainstream media, pretty disgusting. Absolutely disgusting what they're doing to this man. How they've deliberately photoshopped that photo of him to make his head look big. Like, it's so transparent. Like, do you guys...
I'm sorry, do you think they turned on big head mode to make the shot easier? Oh, that's so close to me wanting to make it. Too soon! Black's Law Dictionary request. I can't actually do that yet. I can't do the Black's Law Dictionary request because I'm not supposed to lift over 10 pounds for another 2.5 weeks. And it's heavier than that, so I gotta deny it because I can't pick it up. Otherwise, I might tear my scrotum. Anyway.
Really? Mainstream media, do you really think...
No fucking way! Are you sure, Carpcosian? Did, like, AP confirm this? Hold on. Give me a sec. Anyone? Does anyone have a confirmation on that? 1 sec. Sorry, this is gonna be obnoxious in the VOD. Because I know you'll know by then. I know someone else, yeah. Someone will let me know. If anyone knows, let me know.
Think that we're that stupid now? That we can't see what you're doing? Yeah, just really, really sad. Really, really sad that the system, New Zealand government, shot and killed a man for being
not seeing confirmation. Okay. No one tell me confirmation of anything unless you have a link to tell me. Why are you people like this?
Father.
Like, let me put it this way. Have I not... In this show, in particular on Tinfoil Tuesdays, have I not imparted on any of you the importance of sourcing information and not just reading something someone said and going, that's true, I better repeat that on a stream towards other people? Have I taught you people nothing? What are we doing here? Don't come with me with stuff unless there's a source.
And doing right by his kids. I don't know about you, Lotto, but I don't want to take that lying down. I really don't want to take that lying down. But what can we do about it? Because it's just like, I'm not going to make any submission to the government. I'm not submitting to...
Yeah, so far, all I can see is someone saying, someone named Brigham Tomko saying Utah Speaker Mike Schultz says it. That's not enough. That's not enough. You can't have someone saying someone said it. God damn it, guys.
Those mongrels? No way. Every time you do a petition or a protest or whatever, you're making a submission to the government. It means that you're still asking them. You say, please sir, can you let me have a little bit of freedom? My God. They have no...
Just a Peach says the cat distribution system decided we needed 4 more cats. That's good. That's always good.
Jurisdiction over us. When are we going to wake up? Come on. I'm ready. Let's do something. Let's do something. They are killing us for trying to live our lives. Okay? You guys might not be okay with it, but I'm not. And I'm sick of the complicit, the collusive behaviour of others that's facilitating this and perpetuating it. It's the ignorance of others, the ignorance and the unwillingness and the lack of a backbone from other people that is going to kill others and is harming my life. Okay? I'm stuck in this corrupt, disgusting system because other people are fighting to protect that system because their cognitive dissonance is too powerful and they don't want...
Cognitive dissonance is a phrase that conspiracy theorists have picked up, by the way, and they just use it when they want to try and justify why other people don't believe the things they believe. They don't even use it correctly. It's kind of weird.
To see any other way. They don't want to see any other truth or perspective that isn't their own.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. You're wrong, and he was wrong, and he paid the price for that because he broke the law and endangered the lives of his children. So maybe don't think he's a hero.
Oh my gosh, it's absolutely disgusting. We need to do something, people, or we're going to end up dead. We're going to end up dead fighting for our freedom. What's the point of fighting if we can't...
They also don't have the shooter in custody. Have they looked for someone with a red hat with an M on it and a mustache?
Even be here to enjoy our freedom. Tom Phillips died for his children's freedom. Isn't that a sign? Is that not a sign that our government doesn't want well for us? They don't want us to do well. They don't want us to be happy and healthy. They want to pump us full of vaccines. They want us sick. They want to spray heaps of crap in the sky so we've got...
Ooh, chemtrails on the bingo card.
No sunlight. They want to take away our land. They want to take away our homes. When are you going to wake up? When are we going to do something about this?
Sorry. Someone sent me this. Fox News guest Jonathan Gillum, one thing I'm not concerned about is Charlie Kirk. If this is a fatal wound, Charlie Kirk knew his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and that puts me at ease about Charlie. I hope that this is not the case, but that's an uplifting thing. Let me be clear, I'm an atheist. I don't think religion is real. Like, I get why people believe it. Lots of people believe a lot of things. But I was raised Christian. I grew up in Christianity. I'm familiar with it. Let me tell you one thing. Charlie Kirk, if there was a heaven and a hell, would be going to hell. Okay.
A man died fighting for his kids.
That's why I always find it funny that the worst people in the world are the ones often advocating for the belief in heaven and hell. It's like, you guys are the one that would be going to the bad one. Lennon Cat says, they found the shooter. Joke. Okay, funny. Alright, I gotta stop, though. We're not talking about that today. I'm drifting. I'm ADHD double-track drifting.
Something's gotta give, New Zealand. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. Are you not sick of it yet?
Green guy with a tip says, and we caught a mother and 4 kittens on Monday. We took the mother to the pound because she was feral and in bad shape. See pics in Discord as proof. This is how you support your claims, chat. Thanks for the links. Yeah, Just a Peach was telling me about it. Let's take a look at the bingo card, shall we? Give me one sec. So I know we got a decent amount off of that. We have... Well, maybe not that one. You're living in fear, because that was kind of the whole vibe of her rhetoric. I know we definitely had Illuminati Freemasons. Idiot says they're a genius. Chemtrails. Transphobia, transvestigation. Satanic. Yeah, where is bad parenting? Do we have bad parenting on here still? I don't remember if I took that off or not. Bad parenting. We did it. All right. I think that's it. Oh, I'll do conspiracy theorist tells on themselves for her acting as though children are property. One second. Let me look at something real quick. Okay. What are next?
Their consciousness and their soul energy is a match, a frequency match to that particular body, that realm at that time. And then, of course,
vibes-based conspiracy on the bingo card.
You have people who just died in their human bodies, and they've moved their...
Nemesaur says, found more information on Tom Phillips. According to the BBC, he opened fire on the police after they stopped his quad bike with a spike strip. One officer is in critical condition. Oh, that'll do it.
Into their etheric body, and there's the ghost roaming around.
There we go. There's at least a link. I don't recognize the source, though. It does lend towards it, though. We'll keep an eye. Sorry, I really shouldn't be. It's not what we're talking about today. It's interesting, though.
Around, you have etheric parasites, you have vampires, you have all kinds of things going on in the etheric realm on different levels, you know, on different levels, and different levels.
They're citing the same guy. Yep, there you go. All right, stop sending me articles unless you find something that's sourcing something else other than that guy, please. For the love of God, people. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Oh my God.
Of consciousness within itself.
Have I not, like, explained...
like, for example, in OBEs and the...
And let me be clear, it needs to be a link from a reputable source that would actually get in trouble if they were reporting something incorrectly. That's one of the ways you can weigh your sources. Like, if the New York Times posts a story, you can be more likely that it's true because they have more to lose. They can be sued quite easily, and their reputation is on the line. Like, do you guys not know how to vibe out this kind of thing? Like, it's not an exact science, and I'm not going to pretend it is, but, like, do you have any litmus test for, like, what sources are, like, more reliable than others, or is it just, like, whatever says the thing? You know what I mean?
4D theory.
AP is a gold standard. BBC is also quite good. For me, AP is the standard. If AP says it, there's a very, very high likelihood that it's true. It would be shocking if AP said something and it wasn't true to me. Happens, but not common.
Realm.
Yes, vibes-based conspiracy on the bingo card.
I'll just be, like, roaming around in OBE, and I'll stumble across maybe, like, a small group of beings that they just exist in that 4D space, in that next layer out. And then I'll ask them...
Ashley says, we're like conspiracy theorists. Whatever tells us stuff we like must be the truth. This is why I'm saying, if you read, especially if an article says something you want to be true, that's when you should be most skeptical and looking for sources. Not just that someone said it, but what's the evidence? Who said it? Why'd they say it? Where'd they say it? Who said they're saying it? Like, am I fucking crazy? Like, it's... Ah! Sorry, I'm going a little crazy.
I'll ask them if they are aware.
I do have an appointment for my meds, by the way. I do have an appointment to get my meds again. I've been a little erratic lately due to lack of medication. But I have an appointment, so we'll be fine. Peep Lord says, doing a little wordsmithing here. Can I get your opinion on the words babbited, ashlayed? I don't know what you're talking about.
That they can actually levitate.
The AP is saying he was talking about gun violence as he got shot. Did he say it's no big deal?
You know, in there.
His own news site is saying he passed. That'd probably do it, if it is. Where does it say that? Oh, shit! Yeah, the word assassinated means dead, not just shot. That means dead. Woo! I need a sec. Give me a sec. All right, got it out of my system. Back to tinfoil. Where were we?
Very etheric body, which you can do, just like your astral bodies. And I'll just do like a little levitation trick, right? Or maybe fly around a little bit, or just levitate up like 10 feet or 20, 30 feet. And just kind of hover.
That's true. Don't engage in the sin of empathy, chat. Republicans have told us for at least a year. Empathy is the gateway to hell and destroying a nation. Empathy's not allowed. Peeplord says, fun fact, if you refresh a wiki page containing live news, that section is the most recent verified data usually, while omitting noise and BS. Oh yeah, who's the first person that's going to switch all the words to past tense in Charlie Kirk's Wikipedia page?
Above them and whatnot. And, you know, in most cases, these beings that are, that their consciousness is centered in that realm, they're in disbelief, they're in shock, they're in awe, they just never comprehended, you know, on an internal level that this is something they can do.
MSKTB89 says AP, it's a quote from AP. In one video, an audience member can be heard asking Kirk about mass shootings in America. Do you know how many mass shootings there have been in America over the last 10 years? Holding the microphone, Kirk responds, counting or not counting gang violence. A loud gunshot is... A loud gunshot is heard, and Kirk appears to jolt backwards in his seat. You know, some responses just leave you stunned. Overthought says, here's some bits. Thank you. Oh, shit! Thank you.
And then
I just got it.
You have beings in the etheric realm that are very, like I said, very evolved, and they're moving around, doing all kinds of things, and that goes for...
Reminder that you can get away with bad faith responses 99.999999999% of the time, but that 1.000000001% chance, whoo, that response stings. Benigami says, for a little bit of positivity, especially with all the gaslighting we have to deal with, the Humanist Report has a video about how the rest of the world is reacting to our descent into fascism. Germany's very concerned and sad for us. It's nice to know that the rest of humanity still believes in empathy. Indeed. Orion on YouTube says, Trump said Kirk has died per CNN. Yep, BBC said it. Yeah, he's dead. It's confirmed at this point. We got enough sources. We're there. He's dead. Pouring out for the homies directly into my mouth. I don't really care, do you?
Again, people who are still...
I promise I'm gonna knock this off in a little bit and we're gonna focus on tinfoil. I promise. I promise. Woo!
Their human bodies, while their human bodies asleep, It almost seems like even just this physical reality. So you're kind of in it, but at the same time you're outside of it. You're just a.
This is unrelated to anything going on, but just a piece of advice in general. It helps in terms of like longevity. I found that like, lean protein, working out, eating healthy, not being one of the worst, most evil people rhetorically on the face of the earth. All of these things are super helpful in extending your lifespan. So, like, I don't know, get a treadmill or shut the fuck up.
Ghost to the perspective of any human being, and to the senses.
Oh my god, the sibilants.
The senses of another human being. You're invisible. You're like a ghost. But at the same time, when you are that in that ghost body in the 4D, you.
Rick M says for a cleanse, is this crab? No, okay. We could do that. We can have a cute tiger. Adorable. Alright, I will pick a different video because this guy's audio is just absolutely garbled. And I need a fresh start mentally so we can get on with the day and not focus on this thing too much. Okay. For realsies, let's jump back into tinfoil. Ooh, let's watch the Rosie O'Donnell one. That one was weird looking.
Yes, Rosie O'Donnell and Elvis.
Maybe tomorrow we'll do a special. How offensive would it be to do a Chud Watch in memoriam and just cover everything Charlie Kirk has ever said publicly about gun control and gun violence? Is that over a line? What's the... I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna have to evaluate that. Fennikagami says, do you know what helps people feel sorry for you? Not celebrating children's hospitals getting bomb threats and not being one of the biggest obstacles to solving society's problems. True.
His mum.
Altered Undying says, do it.
A stunning similarity. But of course, nothing in this business. It's the business of the batch brew. While people are trying to say all these actors are playing roles and they're wearing masks and all this stuff. No, they're all a batch brew. They're all tea drinkers, transgender, in
Oh, okay. We're going here.
a test tube. Plenty of testo in utero, or estrogen as the case may be. And
Not even quite sure what the fuck he's saying at this point. Green guy with a tip says, I went to work today and fixed some computers. It was the first none-crazier medical appointment day in weeks. Got another tomorrow. Hope it's relaxing.
out they come, even as a baby already half trans. And then, of course,
Half trans. These people don't know what any words mean. Does he mean an intersex person? What does he think trans means? I'm so confused.
it's kept on. Look, it's made. Yes, a made, manufactured, transgender batch brew.
I'm not a manufactured transgender. I'm farm grown, okay? Organic, all natural.
And Don, like the Donald, and now saying that
Is
Trump's
he drunk? No, he's English. Same diff.
assassination was a hoax. Of course it was a hoax. But they're certainly floating those ideas in the media, but of course not everyone's
Free range, but not cage free. Hannah regrets what she just said on the bingo card? Is that generic enough for that? Someone will get it.
going to believe that. And the end for the 13.
No, Rosie O'Donnell is not trans. She's just a cis lesbian woman.
Right there. And one of their favourite little symbols. Yes, Rita Pan. the panhandle. Pan, of course. The
Oh, they think Melania's secretly trans, too.
flute
Fuck, they think Trump is secretly trans.
playing goat-footed little demon. And here's male Lania. Now, many people.
Okay. Bummel Homestead says, related to all the anti-vax tinfoil, got COVID vaccines at CVS, clicked on appointment that I had one of the high risk factors, a lot of the mild asthma going around, pharmacist had 0 questions. Yeah, I imagine they're making it as easy as possible. I luckily am in an actual high risk group, as is my wife, because she has asthma. I'm, obese. So, yeah, I'm good regardless. But yes, everyone go get vaccinated, please.
People say Big Mike, but they never want to hit on this Melania. They even try and say, oh, it's so feminine. Oh, no, it's not. It's a big bloke, just the same as Big Mike. It's Melania. And we've got the Telltale Memoir. And Alex Stein, the Stain. The upcoming here, Melania. She wants to know the truth about the Trump assassination event. Well, we know the truth. We know the truth indeed. Like nothing happened. Nobody died and no one got hurt. Yeah, lots of pan getting around when they got that Indian in Australia, Rita, lovely meter maid. And this one's Sun Eater. And it's another pan, as you can see. And Williams for the galley, of course, in case you didn't know. And clearly, this is a big man here. Sunita.
It's not.
Sonny Williams.
I know you guys can't,
The
like,
famous
see the picture right now, but it's just a cis woman.
footballer in rugby union. Sonny Boy Williams, and there's another one. But you see the pan, the same as Panita and the pandemic.
Bong the Ripper says, that's how you can tell Hannah isn't a natural trans, or is a natural trans. You can't put the words man or male in her names. Manna! Manna! You didn't even try! What the fuck? Did you even try? Manna!
And the little
I've
flute
gotten that one a lot. Jesus, you clearly don't moderate my comment section.
playing God. And the flute, of course, is the syringe. So, September 19, 1965. Record holder for most spakes walks by women and the magic mind weapon number 7. Right there. Now, there's a great video by Christian and Resurrection on these two. The Punch and Judy show, if you go and look that up. And he compares this one, especially with the little chin there, very much like those
Famously, women don't have chins.
characters, Punch and Judy, and Pun, Pan. And look at the Medusa hair, like how ridiculous. Hiving up. You can see they're
They're
nowhere
on the International Space Station.
near space. They're just standing there in this shot. Just the
Alright, I am gonna move on from this. Holy shit, he's boring. He's crazy, but he's not entertaining enough. Ugh. Let's do... Let's try this one. This is an old school VHS conspiracy tape. No, I don't think he had any bingo spots. Well, transphobia, transvestigation, but I think we had that already. Which ones did we hit? Oh, these are just trailers. Let me skip to the actual video. Sorry, they have all sorts of UFO videos.
Mun työni on psykoterapia ja tässä työssä mä käytän lähinnä hahmoterapian ja transpersonaalisen psykoterapian menetelmiä ja ne on vielä aika.
Why is some of this in a different language? All right, this one isn't.
91.
Have humans been in contact with extraterrestrials?
The creatures were laying like this.
Are aliens abducting human beings for scientific research?
I kept questioning, like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And everything would come back would be like, your scientists do this.
Yet there is a growing number of people who
Is our government telling us all the truth about UFOs?
Our government has flat out lied to us for 40 years or more.
There are thousands of people around the world who claim to have seen them. Skeptics suggest it's all a hoax. Yet there is a growing number of
I think that's a little disingenuous. Hoax implies it's always someone trying to trick someone, when much more often it's just people misunderstanding what they're seeing, or being delusional, or lying, so.
people who have no doubt UFOs exist.
Peoplord says, do it. His last words were marrying trans people to mass shootings. His final few paragraphs were against gun control. Sorry, let's skip down a little bit. His final few paragraphs were against gun control, inflating gun violence, and advocating for the advancement of fascism and white supremacy in the U.S. He lived his life profiting off of death, hate, and bigotry. A Charlie Chud compilation and his greatest hits in memoriam would be indistinguishable except for the audience, and that's the whole problem. I'm glad he won't become someone's My Rush Limbaugh. Yeah. All right, maybe that's what we'll do tomorrow then.
Hello, I'm Tim White. I'll be your host as we explore what people around the world now believe about UFOs.
Gatsby Cat says, hi, Hannah. Charlie Kirk is dead. I wish I had a trombone with a muffle so I go, womp, womp, womp. I guess I just did, kinda. I did tweet thoughts and prayers fuckface, so I hope that ends up on Fox News in some sort of montage of the liberals are celebrating gun violence. I'm not. I'm pointing out that he was a hypocrite. Live by the gun violence, die by the gun violence. I'm not doing a very good job not focusing on that, am I?
Flying saucers.
It's just that very rarely in life do you see someone's story end in a way that narratively makes sense. I'm not saying it's good, it's bad. Violence is bad. We do not advocate for violence. I'm just saying, narratively, the story of Charlie Kirk's life makes sense from beginning to end now. It's sad, it's not good, and he was a victim of violence that he disregarded as not being important enough to do anything about. It's just like, there's your story. People's lives aren't usually that black and white in terms of the narrative that they tell, you know? Peoplord says, can the stream be called Womp Womp? No, it'll be more specific than that.
Creatures from another planet. Unidentified flying objects. In the next hour, we'll hear from people who have had close encounters with extraterrestrials. Close encounters of the first, second, third, even the fourth kind. The most common is a close encounter of the
Wait, what's the fourth kind? First is you see them. Second is... I guess I don't remember off the top of my head, but third is you actually communicate with them. What's fourth?
first kind, which is defined as the sighting of an unidentified flying object, an object that can't be explained by conventional means.
It was just a red flashing light.
It sounded like, a swishing sound, sort of.
Et alors, autour de cette forme, il y avait des petits lucioles rouges.
I saw this big triangular-shaped 3 lights.
Fourth kind is abduction. Oh, that makes sense. Andrew Blah, thanks for 24 months, says cursed ads reminded me I needed to sub. Well, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. You ever notice that the abductees are never people who are like, I just got out of the newest opera? It's always like, well, I was down fishing, just got done with my second 12-pack, and them dumb dare aliens sure did get me out of my boat.
In each corner, coming over my house.
Mysterious lights in the sky. They were like stars.
No sound. It just like it was sliding through the sky, and it tilted.
Hannah, you're generalizing based on people's accents and where they're from. I know. It's not good. Fennec Kagami says, in my D&D playthrough, I'm playing a Celestial Warlock Tiefling that I just used the combination of Devil's Sight Invocation and Darkness spell to turn him into a mobile sniper's nest that has advantage on all his attacks and Eldritch Blasts, and disadvantage on being hit if not completely immune to being attacked at current level. Ooh, that's a good combo.
Like it was looking down at us.
It was a bright light that dimmed down to a white
Lily,
speck and went back to a red light, down to a white speck, and then just disappeared.
Last year, there were almost 4,000 reported UFO sightings in the United States, 2,000 in South America.
Homoerotic Race Car says, I would like to be abducted by aliens. That would be fun. Do you know how relieved I'd be if I was abducted by aliens and, like, didn't think it was delusion? I would, because of the things I believe. But if I was abducted by aliens and thought it was really happening, like, even if they mutilated me and murdered me, I'd be like, oh my god, there's other life in the universe? Holy fuck. Shitty way to find out, but, like, all things considered, pretty good day. Altered Undying says, I think that some demographics just have better booties. Rural populations work out more.
More than 1,000
You've not met my dad.
in Asia, and over
Flat butt.
3,000 in the
Also horribly abusive alcoholic, but you know.
Soviet Union.
The butt thing, too.
The worldwide total was over 10,000. UFO investigators wonder why those numbers have increased dramatically in the past 45 years. There's the publicity of one...
It's important to remember that now he's going to be held up as a martyr on the right. This won't be good for anyone on the left. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. What happened, happened, so it is what it is. Nothing I can do about it now.
Person seeing a UFO spark the imagination of others who are eager to believe. Or has the
Your dad has a Hank Hill ass and a Cotton Hill personality.
Air Force simply increased its testing of military hardware? These are difficult questions to answer without tracing the UFO story. Let's start at the beginning. Cave art in Australia.
This isn't a big deal, but also, since we're talking about my dad anyway, he also has a tiny dick.
Australia and the western United States, painted at least 5,000 years ago by prehistoric civilizations, seems to resemble modern descriptions of creatures from outer space. Halfway around the world, a 13th century fresco inside a church in Yugoslavia includes a flying vehicle. It would be another 700 years before technology made flight possible. The modern age of UFOs began in 1947. Ex-military pilot Kenneth Arnold was flying his plane over the Cascade Mountain Range. He encountered several objects traveling at an extreme rate of speed. Although there are no photographs,
Pixar teaches us a good parenting is stored in the ass. True.
Arnold had a
That's just a boomerang. It looks like a batarang almost.
drawing made of
Definitely looks like a prop someone made for like a 1960s sci-fi movie.
what he saw. His sighting triggered hundreds more that year across the
No, I don't regret that.
United States. UFO mania reached a fever pitch in the summer of that year when the Army Air Force reported recovering a crashed saucer in New Mexico. The next day, the government claimed the disc was only the wreckage of a weather balloon. Meanwhile, sightings by credible witnesses continued. Commercial airline pilots saw things.
We immediately decided it could not be a comet.
Military pilots saw things.
When we got within 2 miles of the light, we lost all contact.
Local sheriffs in Dexter, Michigan saw things.
Oh, Michigan!
Well, there was someone...
Isn't it crazy how the entire UFO phenomenon was something that was pretty much entirely predicated on people not having digital cameras with really good zoom. Like, I just want, like, almost a century of people, some people ruining their whole lives being ufologists because they didn't have good enough cameras that were easy to use and didn't use film. You know what I mean? Like, if unidentified flying objects were actually alien spaceships, with the advent of, like, iPhones and HD cameras that everyone has in their pockets, inevitably would have led to an increase in UFO sightings, but instead we've seen the opposite. There's fewer sightings, and the ones that are seen and are captured are less, taken less seriously by and large because you can see what the things are. It's just funny how technology and its limitations of whatever time you're in can, like, literally shape the lives of people. Really interesting. And cultural phenomenons. Weird stuff. You have Fire in the Sky on Blu-ray and you're making me want to watch it for October. I have Fire in the Sky on Blu-ray.
Shape looked like a toy.
Where is it? Is Starman close enough? Where's Fire in the Sky? It's somewhere. God damn it. Hannah mentions Blu-rays.
Sightings of unexplained phenomena weren't limited to just the United States. Marina Popovich, a Soviet pilot with over 100 airspeed and endurance records to her credit, had her first UFO encounter in the mountains of southern Russia.
После того, как я увидела шар,
My first contact with a UFO was a rather special experience. It was in the mountains, and I saw a sharp ray coming out of a huge sparkling ball.
Even some of the men and women who have been in space have reported seeing things they can't explain. Gemini and Apollo astronaut James McDivitt had his own encounter in June of 1966. While in orbit above the Earth, an unidentified object outside the window caught his attention.
I happened to glance out one time, and there against the black...
Jay's a Proxy says, let's trust the Soviets. See, to me, it's not even about that. Certainly, I wouldn't trust the government of the Soviet Union, or the United States for that matter. But it's less likely that she's, like, being told to say something by the government, and it's much more likely, heuristically, if we, like, took an Occam's razor approach, that she's just mistaken. Just because someone's a pilot or an astronaut or cosmonaut does not mean that they're immune to being confused about what they're seeing or making up things, being delusional. And I don't mean that pejoratively. I just mean people mistake what they see sometimes and get really, really intense opinions about it.
The sky was a white object.
Hydrate.
Geometry of it was sort of like a beer can or a Coke can with a pencil sticking out one of the round edges at about a 45-degree angle.
What was it? McDivitt was able to snap a few pictures, but after turning the film over to NASA, the photographs disappeared. He suggests it's conceivable that other civilizations could have the technological know-how to make space...
The little squabble in chat, stop. I promise it doesn't matter. I promise it doesn't matter. There's kind of a little back and forth. It's fine. Drop it. Let it go.
Travel possible. And he's not alone in this belief. A 1990 Gallup poll showed that nearly 50% of Americans believe in the existence of UFOs, despite the fact that most...
What do you mean UFOs? Again, if you mean are there objects that are unidentified that pilots and other people see? Yes. Are they alien in nature? Unlikely. Is this the guy who was the narrator for How It's Made? I don't know. I've only seen that once or twice.
Photographs and film footage of the actual sightings are not very good. The images are scratched, out of focus, or the camera's just too far away to see things clearly. But with the advent of the home video camera, more and more people have captured unexplained phenomena on tape. This home video was shot over Las Vegas in early 1991. It shows 3 objects floating and diving in front of the mountains.
This is a spectacular maneuver.
Big part of footage like this, too, I think, is a lot of the times the objects are much closer and smaller than the footage makes it appear initially, so they seem to your brain to be moving in ways that don't make sense because your brain is putting them farther away and bigger. so the way that they move doesn't make sense. But if you kind of adjust your brain and go, wait, no, these are smaller and closer, the way they move tends to make a lot more sense.
As you say, it goes in front of the mountain, so it has the mountain as a backdrop, which gives you a fairly good idea of its distance.
In Gulf Breeze, Florida, something that looks like a spacecraft was caught floating just above the tree line. Videos like this have convinced quite a few Gulf Breeze residents that UFOs are real. A small town located just across the bridge from Pensacola. It's been one of the busiest places in the United States for UFO sightings since 1987.
And we have over 500 witnesses, and we have about 262 recorded sightings, and we've investigated almost 200 of those.
The investigations have been conducted by a small group of Gulf Breeze residents. Most are members of MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, a grassroots national organization of private citizens who've taken it upon themselves to try to get to the bottom of the UFO mystery. One possible explanation has surfaced. Gulf Breeze...
I miss these kind of people. Instead of CC, this would be nice. Toreador with 63 months says 63 goddamn months, yeehaw. Woohoo! Cowboy noises.
is virtually surrounded by 3 major military bases, all with extensive air traffic.
We call the military. We're told, no, we did not have anything in the area at the time.
Famously, the military will be very open with you about where they're flying their potentially experimental aircraft, by the way, when you call them. Hi, Army? Air Force? Hello, Mr. Air Force. Was that your secret aircraft that I saw earlier today? You have to tell me. It's like if you ask a cop if they're a cop. Fedekagami said, did people in the 90s think the government wasn't allowed to lie to you? Like, genuinely was the thought like, no, the government said they didn't do that. They can't lie. They're the government. Like, what? Fenegami says, the martyrdom concern is pointless. Christian nationalists have a persecution complex. Any pushback at all grants someone martyrdom in their eyes. If you worry yourself too much about what will make martyrs or of any individual figure, you stop yourself from... that's getting a little close to advocacy, so I'm going to stop reading that. Peoplord says, other cool word... Morphonaut is what the title the Phantom Ranger had when he donned the suit to explore the Morphin Grid before he got trapped in it by Dark Spectre. Fucking love Power Rangers.
That you had your sighting. Of course, there will be those that say, well, that's the typical military response. Even if there was something going on, they would deny it.
The wave of sightings in Gulf Breeze started with this man, Ed Walters. In November of 1987, Ed and his wife Frances took some amazing photographs of a flying saucer. Fearing ridicule, at first Ed kept the pictures to himself, but then he sent them to the Gulf Breeze Sentinel, the local newspaper. Publisher Dwayne Cook knew his reputation would be on the line if he decided to print the pictures.
I was nervous, naturally, and my folks came in Wednesday afternoon while we were putting the paper together. And I said, you're not going to believe what we're getting ready to run in this week's paper. Showed them the pictures, and they looked at them and said, that's what we saw. So...
A glare on the lens?
At that point, I more or less lost my fear of going with it because...
That's embarrassing that you published that in a newspaper. You should be ashamed of yourself.
You know, if your own folks see it, if you can't trust them, who can you trust?
No one. You're a news reporter. Stop trusting people. Jesus.
As it turns out, at least a dozen other people saw the same thing that night, including Art Hufford and
a dozen people? Wow. How many of them only saw it after they heard other people had seen it? Wow.
several other people who then became members of MUFON.
I never felt more alone than I felt that day, November the 11th, 1987, seeing this thing, and then later, nobody saying very much, and then, of course, several weeks later, you know, people were coming forward, and fortunately, you came forward a month later and said, hey,
Jesus was seen by 500 people. That's one of my favorite biblical claims, is they'll be like, look, the Bible says that 500 people saw Jesus do this miracle. You're calling those 500 people liars? Well, I have a book right here that says 1,000 people said those 500 people are liars. You see why the claim doesn't work? You can't claim 500 people were witnesses. That's just a claim. That's not witnesses. It's rhetorical sleight of hand. You're trying to act as though you have a bunch of witnesses when all you've done is claim there's a bunch of witnesses. That's the claim. I'm not fighting 500 witnesses. I'm fighting the claim that there were witnesses. Ugh.
I saw that same.
Have I seen Christians losing their minds about the Jesus horror movie? No. Is there a Jesus horror movie? It's kind of funny.
Dr. Bruce Maccabee, an expert photo analyst employed by the Navy with over 20 years' experience, spent several months studying the Walters pictures. Maccabee also had Walters use a stereo Polaroid camera the next time he saw something.
Some of his early photos contemplated the possibility that they were hoaxed by a double exposure method. But there is a question of whether or not anybody knows how to fake stereo pictures and do it well. I concluded that doing the photography, if it was a hoax.
It looks like one of those, oh god, you guys know the rides at fairs that are like UFO themed and you get in them and they spin around and it like pins you to the wall via centrifugal force? It looks like that. No, it kind of looks like a salad spinner or like a bowl. Something. It's not a spaceship, that's for sure.
Folks, combined with all the other sightings.
You love those? Me too. Oh, also, this is weird. Baha and I, before I had my surgery, went to a fair with, like, rides and stuff. And for the first time in my life, I understand why you don't see adults on fair rides. When I was a kid, I just thought when you're an adult, you stop liking rides. No, it hurts your body. When you're 30 and you go on a fucking scrambler, you feel like you got in a car accident for a week. It's worth it, but like if I try that when I'm 40, am I gonna fucking die? Like what? Am I just not allowed to enjoy carnival rides ever again? Why is this not something anyone talks about? I've never heard a single person be like, by the way, enjoy carnival rides, because when you hit 30, can't do them anymore. Ruins your month. We need to warn people, enjoy carnival rides while you can. Your body will not handle it well after a certain age.
Testimony of Ed and his family, the intensive investigation, all ruled out the possibility that this was a hoax. And so I concluded in late May of 1988 that it was real.
Since 1987, South Shoreline Park has become a magnet for skywatching. The sky...
Jesse says, is this from Sightings? I got indoctrinated by this show as a kid, and then I had trans witch deprogram me sometime later. Thank you, Hannah. I actually don't know what this is from. I don't think it had a title. Let me look. Sightings! Paranormal Sightings. It is.
Watchers have been able to videotape several unidentified objects. Most of them look like nothing more than
yes, he can still send stuff to the P.O. box.
Small points of light in the sky, but close examination has revealed that the lights are doing something that science says is impossible. They move at odd angles, change size, travel at unheard of speeds, all while never making a sound.
One of the more recent videos
shows... even know what it is. How can you make a claim that it's impossible? This idea that they said it's scientifically impossible. Who said that? Who are you claiming as a scientific expert that said it's impossible, and by what principle? It's an empty statement. It's rhetoric.
There's a light that was red, and all of a sudden it turns white and starts flashing. These extremely brilliant pulses of light. It appears that it's as if the actual size of the image, which would be related to the size of the light source itself, changed in like 1/30th of a second or so from one TV frame to the next. We don't have anything that could do that, so far as I know.
While the encounters continue in Florida, the most recent UFO observations have occurred thousands of miles away, in Belgium. An amateur photographer videotaped this triangular-shaped object in early 1991.
If I'm an alien, I'm not going to go to Belgium. France is right there.
Last year, there were 500 sightings in all of Europe. So far this year, reports in Belgium alone...
Oh, wow, that's the most Belgian-looking motherfucker on the planet. Am I crazy? On screen, yes, that's a Belgian. Look at how Belgian this motherfucker looks. Oh my god. Oh! You know how you can cut worms in half and it'll grow into 2 worms? It's like someone did that with Augustus Gloop. Oh, shit. Anyway.
Totaled over 3,500. C'est impressionnant, donc ils volaient d'abord tout.
Fedekagami says, sorry about earlier, I was thinking more about things like chud comedians getting booed off stage for a public school coach openly praying on the field before game getting reprimanded when I was talking about martyrdom. But seeing how I worded the message, I understand your concern. Oh, I know. I know what you meant, but I was just trying to be careful.
Doucement, donc on le voyait avancer de cette manière-ci, et puis tout d'un coup...
From prehistoric cave art to medieval frescoes to videotapes in Florida and Belgium, people have been recording strange things they've seen in the skies. What are they? Perhaps the answer lies...
I'm allowed to make fun of Belgians. I'm a big fan of Hercule Poirot.
...out beyond the stars. At this point, just out of our reach.
In July of 1991, astronomers reported the discovery of a planet 10 times the size of Earth, orbiting a star 30,000 light years away. If the finding is confirmed, it will be the first planet detected outside our solar system.
Oh wow, this is old. Holy shit. This is old. We hadn't even detected like more planets. That's crazy. That's such a normal thing in like, you know, the field of like space and stuff these days, that they find planets all the time. Never even occurred to me that like this recently in history, like that was just not a thing.
Could it be possible we're not the only living beings in the universe? And while we're watching the skies, we wonder if someone might be watching us. When we return, close
makes you wonder in another 40 years what we'll know about space that we don't know now.
encounters of the second kind. Some UFO researchers claim that extraterrestrials have left behind traces of physical evidence.
Why would it be exactly 46 and a half? No matter how you measure it, it's 46.
Second kind are encounters that leave behind some form of physical evidence. Two types.
By the way, we are going to do... I'm sorry I kept having to move the Patron live show. We tried to do it last Sunday, the 7th, but Twitch and YouTube streaming was not working. So the next 3 Sundays in a row, I believe we're going to be doing Patron-only live shows. So if you're a YouTube member or a patron, Sundays for the next 3 weeks. Sorry about how hectic everything's been.
Are most often reported. First, the bodies of cattle, horses, and occasionally wild animals mutilated by some sort of high-tech equipment. Second,
I didn't figure out what the problem was, other than there was in my area a huge like outage for like internet stuff that people were reporting, so I think it was just something to do with the internet not being cooperative.
Crop circles, enormous elaborate designs that appear overnight stamped into the fields as if by some heavenly artist.
Crop circles are the funniest thing to me because it's one of the more obvious hoaxes that people fell for no discernible reason. Like, no one could do this except here's exactly how we do this. You know what I mean? And to be clear, crop circles are kind of cool, like art, like as an actual like thing to come up with these geometric designs and you can only really see them and appreciate them from above. I find it an interesting medium for art. But yeah, it's not UFOs. It's just a thing people do.
To my amazement, there was a huge circle in an oilseed rape field up there. I nearly crashed the car because I was so excited.
The crop circle phenomenon began in the mid-1970s.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Charlie Kirk thing tomorrow, guys. Someone on YouTube's talking about it. Tomorrow we're going to do a video on the Charlie Kirk stuff.
English.
How do people become a patron? They can join at patreon.com/HannahReloaded as a paid member at this link. Or if you want to become a YouTube member, just join as a member. Oops.
Farmers started finding giant circles in their fields, pressed into their crops with the precision of a cookie cutter. Many thought it...
So for those who don't know how this is done, it's very simple. They take a piece of wood. You just go to a Lowe's or a Home Depot or whatever your local lumber place is. You go inside a barn and just find a nice piece of wood this long or so. You get holes through it. You get some ropes in there. That way, I I'm not wearing socks, and I don't want to show my feet. I don't know how many Quentin Tarantinos are in the audience. But basically, you would take your foot, place it on the middle of the wood, and then you'd grab the ropes, and you'd kind of press. You'd just use it so you could kind of evenly press the corn or wheat or whatever down in the shapes you wanted. There have been videos showing people making them. There's how-to videos on this.
Must all be some kind of hoax.
Wasn't it done by 2 teenagers? Many of them were. Many of them were, and they filmed it, and they explained the hoax later on. But many other people also did it. I don't think they were the only ones.
Or perhaps funny weather. It was strange, though. There were never any unusual tracks leading out to the circles. And
yeah, have you walked through a wheat field before? It doesn't, like, leave, like, giant footprints. Like, unless you're crushing all the goddamn wheat intentionally.
no reports of odd weather. Baffled scientists flocked to circle locations, hoping to find a reason.
Have most people just not been in a field of corn or wheat? That's probably a part of the problem. I grew up in Michigan, so I've been in farm fields that have been planted and have, like, corn and wheat and shit or whatever. Do people just not know what it's like? So I don't understand why they think there'd be footprints in or out, you know?
Reasonable explanation for the phenomenon. But one by one, theories blaming disease, helicopters, tornadoes, and hoax artists were shot down.
I've come across many hoaxes, and you can tell them within 2 minutes, because the normal circles, the corn is just simply gently moved down and the stalks are not broken. Anybody that tries to reproduce a hoax circle by chain, trampling...
Again, none of this is true. Like, they're calling these 2 experts, but this is, after this, objectively wrong. There are videos showing people doing it and them looking just like the ones in this video. The claim that people can't hoax this is literally just them saying, no, because I'd rather it be aliens, and justifying it to themselves.
Anyway, you may...
I don't think they're lying in that they don't believe what they're saying. I think that they're self-deluding because they so badly want it to be aliens.
...think will damage the structure of the crop involved.
What does it all mean? Well, this is one case where your guess is probably as good as any. There are, as yet, no prevailing theories on how the circles are being formed.
Again, piece of wood, 2 ropes.
Remember, we are stepping into the unknown.
Banded together into an organization for scientific examination of the circles, British researchers are baffled at the fact the bent-over crops keep growing and show no signs of any physical contact. They say their evidence does indicate...
The sign of physical contact is that they're bent all the way over horizontally.
The circles are formed in about 5 to 10 seconds and are caused by some tugging...
What do you mean how would you know they're formed in 5 to 10 seconds? You just said it. They're just saying that. They're not. They take hours to make.
Force.
Depends on the size.
So the roots are not pulled from the soil.
Yeah? No, why? No, why would they be? They weren't picking them.
And the circles aren't confined only to...
Do people who've never been near plants think that, like, if you bend over a crop that it's gonna like, do they think they're just very loosely in the soil, like, oh, you just touch it and the whole thing comes out, like, oh, Jesus Christ, we are so divorced from agriculture.
Britain. Japan is one of the many places crop circles have shown up in the last few years.
Well, that one's not as good as the American ones.
Along with Canada.
I like my crop circles made in America. Union strong.
Here in the United States. Throughout the Midwest, in towns like Milan, Illinois.
I thought to myself,
look for the Union label when you are shopping.
could anything do that without it didn't come out of the sky and come down here? Now, they almost come down and do this because there's no way it could get in here.
No alien droppings whatsoever, no.
Might be a tornado or some kind of a wind, but it's, why would it be exactly 46 and a half? No matter how you measure it, it's 40.
Trey with a link. We paid some Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk. And this was posted 2 days ago. Shit. I hope they give 5 stars to those Etsy witches. Holy fuck. Which witches? I need to ask them for some spells. Jesse with a $5 super chat says, most TV shows from the 90s, British accent equals intelligence and thus trustworthy.
6.5. During the last few years, while the rest of the world got used to the appearance of crop circles, British farmers found their encounters changing. Now, they weren't just circles anymore.
The most amazing thing was...
Did someone find the Death Note?
...that in 1990, in May, we started getting these...
I wish it was me.
...pictograms, which are these dumbbell or barbell-shaped formations with various features coming out of them. Features like hands and claws, semicircles on the end, all of these things. We've never seen anything like that before.
The British hoaxers who recently claimed credit for the crop circles could demonstrate only the crudest designs, and the quality and quantity of their handiwork left most experts unconvinced.
When you go into the extra pieces that were there, the claw features, key pattern, that sort of thing, we found they were still as precise, and the floor patterns were very, very precise.
It is impossible to reproduce an entire structure like that, which is nearly 300 feet in length.
I love that there's like, it's impossible. They're not even claiming how it's impossible. They're just so confident and so wrong. Toreador says, totally unrelated, but I heard Ben Shapiro's doing a book tour. No. Too close, too close, too close, too close. I can't.
Creating an immense amount of damage in its construction.
Despite attempts by...
This is why I'm concerned about tomorrow's stream, chat. We have to be on our best behavior. Genuinely. Like, no tongue-in-cheek aside. If we're doing the Chudwatch Charlie Kirk Memorial thing tomorrow, y'all have to be on superb behavior. Like, really. Come on. Like, I just want to put it out there. Everyone has to be so well behaved if we're gonna do that. Okay? Because I don't want a bunch of chuds to come in and report the stream, even though I plan on being careful and not doing anything wrong. To not give them a reason. H-Bird says, just got here. Haven't the people who made these already admitted it and showed the news how they did it? They have. I don't think they had at the time that this came out.
Wide range of experts. No one...
Did I turn off chat for tomorrow? Just emoji-only chat? That would be worse. I have a feeling if I turned it into a emote-only chat, y'all would get wild with it. Y'all would be deviously creative in ways I don't even want to find out, so... I don't know.
Has been able to photograph a circle being made. But strange sounds have often been recorded lingering within the circle area. Sounds that can best be described as a trilling noise. And researchers do get plenty of reports of strange sightings.
We've got, at least 20 or more cases of circles which have formed.
All right, I'm going to move on from the crop circles, especially since we know how they're done at this point. Funny how the things people fall for that are so socially acceptable to fall for, too, in their given time. Ultra Undying says, please enjoy this one by Stonehenge. What do you think the aliens are trying to tell us, Hannah? I feel like this is a reference to something, but I don't recognize the character. Jesse with the $10 super chat says, I have a question. If there were spacefaring species, why would their only form of communication would be artwork and corn? Wouldn't there be better ways to say, hey, we're here and exist? Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense. Let's try some of these ones.
You'll really think about it. Because if you really thought about it, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be here. But
it's a legit crop circle by Stonehenge called the Stonehenge Joker. It's pretty good.
You missed the question. Do you understand? Njengamadlozi asinamandla njengoNkulunkulu. Kodwa uNkulunkulu thina njengamadlozi siyamazi. Futhi siyamkhulumisa.
Sorry, too many captions today. I try and avoid captions because I know a lot of people listen and don't watch.
Is an adversary. So your true enemy in this world is yourself first, right? You're an enemy against yourself. Once you embrace your ego, you start to be an enemy against your own self. But this ego fights against the spirit. It doesn't want you to be spiritual. And this ego enslaves you. It wants to keep you human so you can't develop your powers and your knowledge or potential. That's what Lucifer represents and Satan represents the other. So
Gnosis, so hot right now.
Satan is a fourth dimensional energy. It's not really that high. That's why
Satan is a fourth dimensional energy. That's pretty dope. Good for you, Satan. Dimensions beyond our own on the bingo card.
They want to keep you enslaved because if you ever walk up to your true self, you will find out that you're more powerful than they are. And they don't want you to know that.
Okay, so seriously though, there is this weird like Gnostic streak going on in like conspiracy theories lately, and by Gnostic I don't necessarily mean the traditional actual Gnostic faith. I more mean in that in Gnosticism a primary concern is not so much salvation as it is growing your gnosis or knowledge. And that seems to be the primary spiritual concern for most conspiracy theorists, is this idea that there's some secret esoteric knowledge out there, and that by growing their understanding of this esoteric knowledge, they, like, increase their so-called vibration and become closer to enlightenment within these higher dimensions, within whatever you want to call it. It's very strange. I wish they would take that desire for knowledge to, like, actually learn real things instead of indulging in, like, woo-woo stuff, you know?
All they can do is go to the fourth dimensional energy, right? Because they're adversaries. They fell from heaven. These angels that broke away from the Galactic Council and broke away from the Anunnaki order, right? They broke away from that, and those angels fell. Those angels of light fell. These are the fallen angels right here. And they want you to embrace your lower self. So you can't have knowledge and potential. Now, there's a very good author named Michael Ford. I like his writings. I like his books. He has a lot of good books on Luciferianism. Okay? Gods. And they became the adversarial force on this planet. This is where you get Satan from. Okay, Satan is not a person, it is a title, and there are many Satans, right?
See, that's interesting because in like based on the Old Testament and how under Judaism Satan is portrayed, Satan is not an individual character within those contexts. It's a title. It's the adversary. It's an angel that works for God to cause problems for people, to test them, basically. So he's picked that reality out of it, but he's used it in a very unique way to serve his current woo-woo spiritual beliefs.
So what these renegade groups decided to do was try their hardest to make man more materialistic. So
I have a really great white conservative Christian reggae person for us to look at on a stream sometime soon, by the way.
I'm giving you guys a secret here.
White conservative Christian reggae is a cursed genre.
The more materialistic you become, the more satanic you are. Period, point blank. The more you get into the material world and get stuck into the material world, the more you actually getting into Satanism.
But I am living in a material world, and I am a material girl. Marx told me that.
And I'm telling you from a fact, because Satanism is ego, embracing your ego, which is the false self, and is also materialism, right? It's materialism. So the world that we're living in now is without a shadow of a doubt satanic. It is not Luciferian. Lucifer and Satan is two different people. And that's a whole nother video. We'll talk about that in another video. The world you live in is satanic, is ran by extraterrestrials, right? Who are
aliens did it on the bingo card. Aliens are in charge, apparently.
Force.
That's good. I was gonna vote and care about politics, but I guess if aliens did it, I don't have to do anything.
from the fourth dimension, which is the astral world, okay? The astral plane, all right? And this goes into the astral plane. The astral plane is where you go to when you go to sleep. Now, let me explain this real quick. People think that when they go to sleep at night, they're just dreaming and they're just having dreams and none of this is real. No, what's happening is your consciousness, right? Your awareness is leaving your body and is going into another vessel, right? In your aura, you have different layers of consciousness around your aura.
No, dreams are a psychological process that I fully admit, as someone who went to school for psychology, we don't have a thorough understanding of the actual purpose behind dreams necessarily, but we do understand what they aren't, and what they aren't is you traveling to another dimension mentally. No, it's not. It's a state your brain goes into and you experience while you're sleeping. Like, it's not magic, it's not esoteric, you don't go anywhere, it's your brain.
Aura. One is the physical body, the energy that operates the physical body. You have another layer of your aura or yourself that is what you call astral, right? It deals with the astral plane. Okay, and this is very important to understand because the astral world is where you go when you die, right? Some people call it the spirit world. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is Satan, the satanic force that we deal with on this planet is fourth dimensional. It is a fourth dimensional Anunnaki force that is basically, Anunnaki draconian force, that is basically working against you to keep you on the third density. They don't want you to go up to 4 or 5 or whatever, or even
Reptilian on the bingo card for the draconian thing.
higher.
Anunnaki are a kind of alien that these people think exists. They're sort of a canon group of aliens in terms of like UFO and alien belief in the modern day. There are like 4 or 5 canon species that are pretty universally agreed to exist. Draconians are one of them. Those are your standard reptilians. There's the Anunnaki. There are the Nordics. Those are the ones that are sort of like the Aryan, blonde, gross, weird dog whistle. Greys, which are your standard, stereotypical, big-eyed green aliens. There might be a few others, but those are like the standard big ones that they believe in. Toreador says, "Sir, that's not astral projection. That's sleep apnea, and you're suffering from hypoxia hallucinations." My favorite.
They want to keep you on a third. And how do they do that? By keeping you stuck in religion and by keeping you not focused on your spiritual growth. Look up before, it's called Behold a Pale Horse. Most people won't pick it up because they got a man with a skull face on the front and they'll get scared. But let me tell y'all a secret about this book.
I'd read that book, but there's a spooky skeleton on it. A thing an adult thinks.
A Christian wrote this book. That's right. In the book, he gives all glory to Jesus Christ. In the book, he starts out giving all glory to Jesus Christ in the book, but he gives away all the secrets. This man was murdered for the information that he gave, right?
I bet.
He talked about how extraterrestrials started religion. This is a Christian. But he said he couldn't let his faith go. So this to let you know that sometimes the things we believe in is a program.
As much as it would be great to blame some outside source for humanity's obsession with the supernatural and the paranormal and narratives that are largely not true, it's not aliens. That's just how our brains work. I'm of the opinion that humans, how do I put this? We're pattern-seeking animals, so we desire some sort of meta-narrative that we can use as a first filter, a sort of ultra-heuristic by which we can make first judgments about the world to simplify things. And I think that has led to a lot of meta-narratives, both religious, political, all sorts of beliefs, have kind of gotten out of control. Like, we attach our ego to very specific meta-narratives, which disallows us from being critical of those meta-narratives, and when you have that not just on an individual scale, but a society-wide and global scale, some of these meta-narratives get a little out of hand. You know, Like killing people because of their religious beliefs or political beliefs. You don't need aliens. Our brains are just fucked up. We evolved weird.
This man
Our beliefs have helped us a lot and hindered us nearly as often.
is a Christian that gave away secret documents, right? And he said in the book that Christianity was created by extraterrestrials. They even have something that's called Project Bluebeam. You can look this up, where they're talking about faking the rapture.
Project Bluebeam on the bingo card.
So this is something that's very important for people to understand. Go get that book and read it for yourself. I'm not making this stuff up. Go read it for yourself and understand what it is. The satanic force is a fourth dimensional astral force. It's not too spiritual. There's other dark forces in this world that's higher than Satanism. I'm not going to say what they are in this video. Satanism is something that is a tool to make you scared, right? That connects to religion. But you got to know what religion is. Who created religion, right? And now you got Christians saying that they're not religious. But Christianity is labeled as a religion. I'm not here to debate with nobody about that. But you got to understand, you got to really make sense of what you say.
Damn it, the light keeps turning off. It does crack me up when there are certain Christians that claim that they're not religious or that they don't like religion. It's fine to be a Christian and not like organized religion, but to say you're not religious is just... you are. Christianity is a religion. If you choose to define that religion as a relationship you have with a certain being, do you? That's still a religion. That's a religion. It's a religion. Sorry that you're upset other people don't want to put you in a separate category to make you feel special. It just is what it is. It's descriptive, not prescriptive. Harold Elbelman with 49 months says, 49 months, great day. Also, check out Livestream Chat for spooky cover picture. It's in the drive, because of course it is.
And because
I will take a look.
Is what you're doing giving you power? Is it helping you evolve? Because
okay, that cover is pretty good. Hold on, let me pull this up so you guys can see it. I've seen worse. Also, that's not a pale horse. That's a white horse. I am begging these goddamn Christians obsessed with fucking eschatology to learn what a pale horse is. It's not white. Holy fuck. Google it.
It's not helping you evolve and you're wasting your time. Now, there is a real version of Christianity that's not called Christianity.
Come on. Hit it with a hammer. Come on. Do it. A little bit. Come on. You got it. Let's go. Woo. Come on. Flicker, flicker. We get it. Come. There we go. God damn it! If I hit it with a hammer, will it work? I think hitting it worked. Woo! At least it was satisfying.
Alright, so infinite potential, engulfing and enveloping. Infinite potential is synonymous with consciousness. The vacuum, infinity, God. So it's all enveloping these servers that we call worlds. And the servers all appear differently.
Yeah, we'll go over bingo after this.
And the core thing that
loses her mind on the bingo card. That's not even on the bingo card.
Infinite potential, which is a superposition of all possibilities, what that is doing is it's decohering. So out of infinite potential, you get one outcome. You get decoherence. So if you look at a quantum computer, it's a bunch of qubits, which are all superpositions. And then if anything sort of affects it from the external environment, those superpositions will decohere into single outcomes, and it'll knock the quantum computer out of being in a quantum superposition.
Oh, people talking about quantum stuff who have no business doing so is an unfortunate genre. H-Baird says, this is the lamest game of chutes and ladders I've ever seen. So for those who don't know what this is, we've covered this guy before. He has I don't even know what to call it. He has a meta-narrative that he calls digital metaphysics, and this is how he thinks the world works. And it doesn't make a lot of sense, at least not in the way he means it to. Basically what happened is this guy does a ton of hallucinogenic drugs. He has posted drug trips he has done, and I think this is a good time to talk about the dangers, potentially, of psychedelic drugs. Now, I'm not telling you what to do with your life or your body. I'm not the government. I simply wish to instill in you the understanding that if you take hallucinogenic drugs, like mushrooms, like LSD, if you have a history of mental illness in your family, or if you have the potential of developing some mental illnesses, such as schizophrenia, or its related illnesses, psychedelics, in particular, prolonged and consistent use of them, can cause those things to be exacerbated. So, the vibe I get is this guy was already vulnerable, and he took a lot of hallucinogenic drugs, and it made him feel like his ideas that were disorganized were significant, which is not uncommon for something like schizophrenia. But I don't think the drugs helped, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
The same thing's true with infinite potential and with consciousness. But the thing that's knocking it out of superposition is you, it's your will, it's your choice, it's your play. It's what you say. That goes, that renders. All of this is a rendering. All of these are just entangled consciousness eyeballs, one infinite consciousness, but these are all entangled. So you may be experiencing, looking at it from this lens or this perspective, or wearing this body that might look like a man or a woman, or from a certain country, or from a certain socioeconomic status, or whatever. This one's from a different heritage, a different socioeconomic status, blah, 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 different story. Certain people's parents stay together, certain people's parents don't. Certain people have siblings, certain ones don't. So he's
basically trying to come up with a singular explanation for everything, and that's impossible. That doesn't even make sense.
What all of these little eyeballs are is all of those different walks of life, so that consciousness can have contrast with experiencing different outcomes of infinite potential. So it can learn, so it can explore information and experience with itself. So why are there little film strips that are kind of bifurcating or trifurcating and overlapping? So these are your little choice points where certain things happen. In this first example we made, there you're just at an event with a friend. Then there's a choice point, which is that you can either leave the event, and here you are in the film strip at home or wherever you go, or you can stay at the event a little bit longer, and there you are in that film strip. Now, it's not really linearly going anywhere. That's why, you're not actually linearly moving this way, but instead everything's just being rendered right here as conscious projection and holographic rendering of information and experience and light. It's just
he uses holographic very incorrectly.
a play of light inside your consciousness. So that play of light, all of the little choices and paths and experiences are all happening inside of you. You're not really going anywhere. That's all happening inside of you. So when you intersect your path with, if you stay, you stay at the event a little bit longer, well, you'll intersect your path with another fractal of consciousness that is, then you merge your paths into a single scene or a single story.
One outcome.
One outcome.
And then that outcome can...
Oh, Jesus, I forgot his, partner or something is into this, too. Foila duo! How do you pronounce this? Folly of two! Folly of two! French!
Can become that outcome.
Foila toi? Foila toi?
Becomes
Folia duo?
something else.
Yeah, so these everything that's experienced is seeding the next thing that's experienced. So if you've never met this observer fractal before, now you'll have the seed of knowing who that observer fractal is, and if you want to go play disc golf with them at some point in a couple weeks later or whatever it is. So
what if I don't want to play disc golf? Oops.
Out here in infinite potential, you can't really understand what it is. There's waves, there's stars, there's shapes, there's symbols.
I'm hurting you in the croissant.
Of
I apologize.
Numbers and letters. And
Les yeux sans visage.
All kinds.
That's the only French I know.
Kinds of things.
Ooh, and omelette du fromage.
But you can't really understand what the thing is that's behind you that's generating this, besides the fact that it's infinite potential.
The vacuum.
Yes. And what's channeling from that through you into this is happening through like an hourglass of your choice, your will. You can only take one little grain of sand at a moment and bring it into your experience. So these two pathways.
Okay, let's look at the bingo card. He's driving me nuts. And he's a skilled driver. I think he's been there many times. Let's take a look at the card. Wow, have we really not had uses AI today? That's actually kind of crazy. Doesn't understand how cameras work. Vibes-based conspiracy. Incorrectly believes evidence is self-evident. Project Bluebeam. Dimension beyond our own. My research said by a non-researcher. Hannah mentions Blu-rays. Word salad. Reptilians. Aliens did it. Hannah regrets something she just said. Anything else? Did I miss anything? That's true. I've been picking up older videos today. So that's fair. Alright, let's see what's next.
Welcome to the channel. It's
Ultra Undying says, be careful, the immortals will come get you. Yes, that's the official title for those who manage the French language in French.
me, Chris Brooks,
Highlander told me what to do with immortals.
for another LSB film
Immortals, not immortals. I ruined it.
podcast.
And now I have Queen stuck in my head.
Today's guest is a truth seeker, an independent thinker, and somebody who has challenged mainstream narratives across health,
Mainstream narratives like you shouldn't drink your own piss.
science, spirituality, Known to many as Allegedly Dave, Dave Murphy has become a voice for those exploring life beyond the official story, questioning not just what we're told, but why we're told it. From personal awakenings to controversial ideas, Dave brings curiosity, conviction, and a whole lot of critical thinking. Whether you agree with him or not, he'll make you think twice. So, welcome to the show, Dave. Allegedly.
Are you concerned about all this corruption being rebranded as conspiracy theory?
I'll skip his little stupid intro.
Chris, it's glad
So this is an interview with Allegedly Dave. Allegedly Dave, of course, is a conspiracy theorist. He is also a sovereign citizen. And yes, he does drink his own urine, but don't worry, we're not going to get into the urine stuff because we are still officially on a piss moratorium until I think December. December, we will, of course, have our annual tradition of Pissmas, in which we will get all of our pee-related conspiracy videos out of the way. But that's not for a while, so no pee today. Peeplord with 200 bits says, here's money, sorry. Well, poison. Charlie said a patriot should bail out allegedly Paul Pelosi attacker since it happened in school. Was the day's lesson talk shit, get hit? Charlie's tour was called Prove Me Wrong and focused on immigrants being the real danger and guns are safe. Mission success did? Not surprised his face is untouched. Ooh, that was a lot.
really glad to be here, actually, after all this trouble we've had.
Yes, we have had a little bit of fun trying to get connected, but we're connected now, and that's the main thing. Right, so first of all, I would like to know how you got the name Allegedly Dave. How did that come about?
Right, well, I started in the free man on the land world, and you know, if you've spoken to anybody in that realm, they all sort of...
Speaking of convictions, how has he not been done for bank fraud for his Sobsit stuff? I don't think he's actually tried to use his negotiable instruments, even though he's tries to sell them to other sovereign citizens. For those that don't know, Allegedly Dave here, like I said, is a sovereign citizen. So he thinks that because money is a social construct, he thinks he can create his own, which is not a good idea. So he creates a promissory note, or what he claims is a promissory note, and then he's saying he wants to sell these to people so they can use them to wipe away their debts. Now, all of that's bullshit and illegal, so no. But again, that's not what we're covering today. This is more conspiratorial in the general sense, as opposed to the Sobsit stuff, which is, of course, conspiratorial. It's just a topic I usually cover separately.
Refer to themselves as commonly known as and such like. And I was being interviewed on a radio show, a guy called Vinny something, a guy from Australia. And I'd been on his show a few times before, and every time I had a different name. So I was Dave of the Murphy family, Dave Starbuck, and this time he said, okay.
He named himself Starbuck, like Battlestar Galactica.
What do I call you?
Am I crazy? Is there a guy on Battlestar Galactica called Starbuck? Am I crazy? Am I thinking of Buck Rogers? No, that's Buck Rogers. Who the fuck is Starbuck?
What do I call you this time? He said, you know what? I'm going to call you Allegedly Dave. And it just stuck after that. So.
Well, that's good. No.
Okay, I am right. Okay.
It's good to have these.
He named himself after a Battlestar Galactica character? Beats, Bears, Battlestar Galactica. Bullshit also.
Funny little moments through life. It sees us on the right path.
Yeah.
So.
Wasn't there a Starbuck in Moby Dick? There was a Queequeg. Is that a Starbuck?
Going back to the little conversation that we had before we started, you've got some dark stuff and you've got some light stuff. So which would you like to do first, sir?
Well, I guess it really follows the dark stuff first. Essentially, who's behind all the troubles that we're going through at the moment, and you know, why.
As we all know, all of your problems are caused by a singular entity, and life is never more complicated than that. Why not? Because that would be hard, and nothing is ever really hard.
It's not it's not going to be palatable for a lot of people because there's some dark truths in here that that people aren't aware of. So
all I will say is, can we just try and but all I will say is, can we just bear in mind this is for YouTube, so try not to be too graphic.
Okay. So a simple way of putting it is the alien invasion happened a long time ago.
Oh, we're jumping right in. That's good. Good to know. Cool beans. Altered Undying, thanks for 100 bits. 18% to level 1 on a hype train. If you want to help the hype train, you can use bits or subs, since it is September and they're discounted.
Happened thousands of years ago. We're all looking for the alien invasion, but it's already happened. And it was documented in an amazing book, the book that's been with humankind for the whole of recorded history.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He's not going to say the Bible, is he? Because that's wrong for a variety of reasons. The Bible is not that old of a text to call it from the beginning of human history, for one thing.
So it's a special book, and it's the Old Testament.
Oh, shit! Judaism is not the oldest religion. It has not been here since the beginning of time. You fucking delusional asshole. Fucking Hinduism predates Christianity and Judaism by a lot.
I know everybody just puts that book aside, but it literally is a history of the past, present, and future.
Hey, fun fact, no it's not. It's a religious text that has significance to a lot of people, but that doesn't inherently make it factually true.
Because the book's not finished yet. We're not quite to the end. We're near the end, but not quite at the end.
I think this is a J.R.R. Martin situation. I don't think the last book's gonna come out. I think you're gonna get left hanging. H-Bird says, aliens are coming. This I know, for the Bible tells me so.
But it tells you, even though it's been edited and hacked to pieces, there's still one line in it that tells you that angels basically came down and had sex with women to spawn.
The line in Genesis about the Nephilim
on their own bloodline, and essentially that bloodline is still here, and they hate humanity, and that's the war we're in. We're actually sorry,
I was going to say, is this the Anunnaki or whatever it's called, or is it tied?
The Nephilim. He's talking about the Nephilim. The children. In fairness, he might be saying that the Anunnaki are the angels that came down and became the parentage of the Nephilim, which are in conspiratorial belief and within the Old Testament, children produced from a mixture of angels and human women.
To those,
the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki is just one name for them. Right, they go by many different names. Essentially, they are the old gods of all these pagan religions. So,
Isn't it interesting how they always find a way to separate their religion from every other religion, so their specific thing is in a completely different category? Eye rolling. Minute left on the hype train.
The Greek gods,
hey, Tea Time Tea, how's it going?
Are the same as the Roman gods, are the same as the Egyptian gods, the same as the Hindu gods, and so on and so on and so on. The worship of...
What's important is you've taken the beliefs and cultural traditions of every human being on Earth for the last 100,000 years, except for people believe like you, and decided it's all bullshit. So that's good.
These gods hasn't stopped. From the ancient days, but yeah, they go by very many different names.
You're having a great day. Good. Hell yeah.
I subscribe.
Jesus Christ, Nemesaur! Thanks for gifting another 20 tier 1 subs.
To the fact that
the second time today. Thank you very, very much. That's incredibly generous.
the account in the Old Testament.
We're gonna get to the sub goal this month way early at this pace.
Is the original account, and
isn't it awesome being alive? Fucking rules.
The book also talks about the Tower of Babel, which I believe was an event that occurred, and everybody split off with their own languages, taking away.
You know what's crazy? I'm a trans person and I'm alive and enjoying life right now. Isn't that crazy? Wouldn't it suck if you were a person who didn't get to be alive and enjoy life? Especially if you were someone who historically shit all over everyone like me and convinced half the country we were pedophiles just for existing. Damn, that would be a sad life if that's all you did with it and you didn't get to keep living, huh?
The same stories of these old gods, but again, the languages changed, so they all came out with different names. The stories got sort of slightly
becomes
changed.
Chinese whispers, doesn't it?
Chinese.
So glad I'm alive. Today, so am I.
These whispers, exactly. But they're the same characters. Now, if you read the account, the account in the Old Testament has been again hacked out, and it's in the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch goes into great depth about.
I think someday we need to read the Book of Enoch on stream. I know that might be a bit derivative in some ways of my past work, but it's cited so often by conspiracy theorists that really I think we need to read the Book of Enoch at some point just to see what the fuck is in there that they're constantly referencing.
These characters and what they did, and these fallen angels, they taught man technology. Yeah, so they gave man technology, but they were punished for it. And I think it was 70 generations. Now, depending on how long you think a generation is, they were locked away for 70 generations, and they were going to be allowed to be freed. Again, depending on how you count a generation, it could be that they were freed somewhere between the end of the 17th century or 1700s to the beginning of about the 1900s, which coincides with the explosion of technology that we've experienced, in a very, very short time.
I've also heard the theory where we got a lot of our wisdom as well from things like doing DMT and
Why is it that everyone with the vibe of Joe Rogan just wants everything to have an answer that ends in drugs? Oh, bro, what if civilization was like, because we got real high?
the ayahuasca, that kind of thing.
I don't know how to break this to you, but even if hallucinogenic drugs helped human beings expand their minds in some way, it doesn't mean that you doing it is anything less than just, like, chillin', right? Even if humanity had some sort of development because of drugs, it doesn't make what you're doing with drugs, like, how do I put it? Good? It doesn't make what you're doing, like, productive or helpful or healthy for you.
And getting all that
Minute left in the hype train.
wisdom and knowledge that way. Do you buy into any of that at all?
I agree that you can.
By the way, I'm not telling you not to do drugs. Again, I'm not the government. I'm not your mom. I'm just saying, like, don't trick yourself into thinking that doing drugs is enlightening you or making you a better person. Usually it's not. Usually it's the opposite. You can have fun, but, you know, be careful. Fedekagami says, I'm just a little sick of everyone acting like only evil people celebrate people's deaths, but stay silent when some powerful figure celebrates the suffering of children. Also, a ton of culture turns funerals into celebrations of people's lives. So F you don't get to dictate how people feel. Yeah.
Can get it through that route, but the route to that information is essentially hijacked by
Thanks for the hype train, everyone.
entities. So if you go into that realm using ayahuasca or even DMT, yes, you can get to that information, but there are entities there waiting for you, and they will tell you things. They might tell you the truth, but again, when you look into the book of, it tells you who those fallen angels called the Nephilim, when they die.
This idea that like entities you see while you take DMT are demons or Nephilim rather, this is such a relatively recent like conspiracy theory that's just been spread everywhere. And I know the guy that like created it. It's like a singular YouTuber. We used to watch him. We don't anymore usually, just because he's kind of says the same stuff all the time now. I say as I milk CC for the 5th year in a row. No, but like there's this weird idea now out in the conspiratorial ether that if you're on a drug trip and you see a clown, it's a Nephilim, and that Nephilim are where we get the archetype for clowns, like white face, you know, with like big smiles, red noses. They think that's the origin of the clown archetype is Nephilim.
Their spirits can't go anywhere, so they're stuck on Earth as disembodied spirits. And those are the entities, those are the spirits, those are the ghosts that you would interact with when you go into that realm through these psychedelic drugs. If we get into the light side of this, I'll tell you about what that realm is about and how you can get there naturally without any drugs. But essentially, that is what's going on in this world. We're in a war. We've been at war for the whole of recorded history, but for the most part, you know, the ordinary humans have no idea that we're at war, because the enemy has been very, very clever, because they have to move very slowly. They are very small in number, and so in order for a very small contingent to eradicate a much larger foe, they have to move very slowly, very, you know, baby steps, boiling frog styly, you know, so that, you know, any changes don't alert the masses, because if the masses sort of wake up to it and turn on them, they're finished.
That doesn't really make sense considering conspiracy theorists are obsessed with the idea that there's a hidden group of people in government, society, and places of power. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, oh, they're so good, but yet your entire job is espousing that they exist and you're still around and they're not stopping you? Little odd. Fennikagami says, one thing I've learned this year is the idea of a universal thing everyone is united on is a lie, and it always was. What really happens is that eventually one side silences others into compliance. The civil rights movement and Iraq war being examples. There's always a divide, but sometimes it's such a lopsided debate you don't realize the divide is there. Yeah.
So
it's always a rhetorical fight to become the predominant socially held opinion that is socially acceptable.
That's what's happened.
How much government knows about this? People in high places.
Green guy with a tip says, Hannah, are you ever craving something to eat but you don't know what, so you start eating a lot of random food around your house? I'm doing that right now. I cooked Red Lobster biscuits. First of all, Red Lobster biscuits are delicious. Secondly, I pretty obviously look like someone who randomly eats food around their house.
They are government. Government is
okay. So the people that we see, the players, then shall we say, how aware are they of what's going on, or are they just submissive slaves?
Well, again, think of compartment.
I hope all the aliens view us as submissive and breedable.
Mentalization. You know, it's a pyramid structure. You know, you've got the leadership, the ones who know everything, right at the top. And the further you go down, the less you know. And then right at the bottom are the ordinary men and women of the earth. But yeah, so if you get to the level of the politicians, well,
I really hope aliens aren't real, because they're going to pick up on my show and I'll be the first to be oviposited.
driven by money and power.
And I'm not on board.
Yeah, they don't necessarily know why they're doing it. They're just following the money and the power, you know. So, but when you go a little further up, you get to those who are in secret societies. So again, they're a pyramid structure as well. So, you know, you might start in the lower degrees and think you're just...
We already had Hannah regrets what she just said on the bingo card.
...doing humanitarian work. But as you progress up the chain, you know, you find out more and more about what you're really doing. And then you get into the powerful families, right? And then you get in, you know, above that are the 13 most powerful families.
There it is. Thinly veiled anti-Semitism on the bingo card. Thinly veiled anti-Semitism on the bingo card. Usually when the number 13 comes up here, it's like the 12 tribes of Israel plus the lost tribe of Israel. I don't remember what the conspiracy theorists think about that, but usually if the number 12 or 13 comes up, it's them trying to talk about Jewish people on the DL.
And then above that, now you're going into the spiritual realm, because, you know, as the New Testament, which I don't regard very highly, basically says...
It's so funny, because, like, if you're gonna pick one of the parts of the Bible, you take the New Testament over the Old. The Old Testament's full of so much fucked up stuff, and I'm not gonna say the New Testament doesn't have its own fucked up stuff in there. Trust me, there's plenty. But, like, compared to the Old Testament, oh my god.
You know, we're not fighting.
In the Old Testament, God literally tricked an entire city by having David and his conquering force convince them to circumcise themselves all at once. And while all the men of the city were recovering from their circumcisions, David and the Israelites slaughtered them all. Like, literally, he had them all cut their dicks to make them, like, not be able to fight back, and then they murdered them. That's fucked up. The word of the Lord. If apparently, according to God, if you can trick your enemies into cutting their dicks, that's a good strategy to kill them. That's the word of God, okay? Peeplord says, do you think he's using his new station in life to look up women's skirts or seeing who his friends are? Oh, I don't want to read that last part. Oh.
Flesh and blood. We're fighting, you know, entities, something that's not quite part of this world. So yeah. Going back to the beginning. Essentially, you know, these Nephilim and the fallen angels behind them hate humans. And
I mean, can you blame them? Gestures broadly.
This was...
Do you know how many humans made 2 Cannonball Run movies? We deserve to be wiped off the face of the planet.
It was an attempt to destroy humanity.
That's your Burt Reynolds joke of the day. You're welcome.
Humanity by corrupting the bloodline. And so it almost worked. Virtually everyone on Earth had been corrupted by this bloodline. And it came down to one man left. The Most High basically waited until it came down to one last original human, and then wiped the Earth clean, essentially. So that...
Imagine being that last human. That's gotta suck. I guess ask Vincent Price. And Profane Priestess says, ovipositors.
Story of Noah's Ark.
You paid me 40 cents to say that.
So Noah was the last one left, but Noah's wife was corrupted. So Noah's children had these...
Wait, what? How was Noah's wife corrupted?
This Nephilim...
I do not recall that coming up in the Bible ever.
DNA in them. And a week before...
I know one of Noah's sons gets cursed because he accidentally walks in on his dad naked. And that's considered a sin for some reason, even though it was a mistake, and he gets cursed or something. It was Ham. I forget it was Ham. Noah's sons are Ham, Shem, and... Oh, there's another one. Ham, Shem, Harpo? No, there's Ham, Shem, Japheth. Thank you. It's Japheth.
The flood, Noah had to find wives for his 3 sons. So the only women that were available were corrupted ones. So the Nephilim DNA got the other side of the flood through the DNA of the children, which is why if you look in the post-flood part of Genesis.
My favorite Mark's brother is Groucho, followed by Harpo, followed by Carl.
You'll find the Most High is basically sifting the bloodlines. He's choosing particular bloodlines and saying, okay, you have to marry this person, and if you marry this person, your children aren't going to be chosen, and so on and so on. So you get a very particular line of people. So it goes from out of Noah's 3 sons, Shem is chosen, not because he's special, it's because his bloodline is closer to Adam's, the original man, than his 2 brothers. And then
Garbo was the Spanish man who gave disinformation to the Nazis about D-Day invasions. Based!
Out of Shem's 5 sons, Arphaxad is chosen, and so on and so on and so on. And every now and again, you'll get a chosen one, and he's given.
Densetsu says, the Old Testament God really doesn't allow anyone to make the slightest innocent mistake. No, very vindictive, you did a wrong, smote.
In special instructions. So you've got.
No, it's not Abednego. That was the people who got put in the furnace with King Nebuchadnezzar. That's Radshak, Meshach, and Abednego. I know Bible things.
Somebody called Eba, where you get the word Hebrew from. Okay, and then it skips a few generations, and then the next chosen one is Abraham, and Abraham, he was told to marry his half sister, Sarah, and Sarah was barren though, so she couldn't have children. So she gave Abraham one of her handmaids, an Egyptian woman, and the offspring Ishmael, he wasn't chosen because he, the handmaid was Egyptian and it wasn't part of the bloodline. So Ishmael wasn't chosen, but when Sarah had a baby in her old age, Isaac was chosen. Right, so
dueling vaginas.
When Isaac had children, something new happened, something different happened. He had twin boys, and in the firstborn, Esau
and Jacob,
all the fallen angel DNA was concentrated in him.
Yeah, I remember that from the Bible when they said Esau had all the fallen angel DNA.
Right, because you'll find that the description of Esau essentially
Esau, which translates to puller of the heel, I believe.
The description of the Nephilim. He was wicked, cunning, warlike, violent.
He's hairy. He's hairy all over his body, like Robin Williams.
All that sort of thing. And the other twin boy, Jacob, it was totally absent.
Jacob is Israel's dead name. It is.
He'd gone all the way back to the original blueprint of Adam. So now you have these 2 representatives.
And then Jacob, aka who becomes Israel, the father of the Israelites and his 12 children, who go on to be the origin of the 12 tribes of Israel. He tricks Esau into giving up his inheritance by trading him a bowl of soup. I'm not joking. He trades his inheritance for a bowl of soup. In fairness, it may have been great soup. We are not given any information on the quality of the soup in the story, but I don't think it was a very good deal.
Man in Jacob and the fallen angels, or the Nephilim, in Esau. And that is the war that we've been in ever since. So you've got the children of Esau who ended up mixing with all the nations apart from Jacob's,
What other nations? The earth had just flooded and only Noah's family remained. What other nations? It was just Noah's family that survived. There were no other nations. Just incest. Just incest. Adam and Eve, they have kids. Those kids fuck each other. Incest. Then you have a bunch of people later. Then the world is wicked. Then God says, okay, we're killing everyone except Noah's family. And then a bunch of incest happens. Christianity and Judaism just love to present humanity as the most inbred fucking species on the planet, which ironically is not inaccurate. Humans are actually more related to each other than a lot of other animals because we've had matriarchal bottlenecks in our history. So, like, broken clocks, I guess.
And the children of Jacob. And that's what's going on today. We've got two factions fighting, and everyone else is collateral damage.
So what is the end game then for these people or for these entities then? What is
incest is a recurring theme in both the Old and New Testament and human history. Hate to break this to you, human beings apparently love to fuck their cousins. Huge thing. Oh my god, have you looked into the fucking Habsburgs? I understand that was for political reasons, but oh my god. Watched a whole video on that a while back. Oh my god. Literally, it got to the point where they're like, there's basically a number that you can apply to how incestuous an offspring is, and because the Habsburgs kept it in the family, if you know what I mean, literally, like, uncles were marrying nieces, but their incest coefficient was still higher than if two random siblings got married. Like, they had so condensed the genetic makeup of this fucking family that every pairing was as or more incestuous genetically than direct siblings having children. Really, really, really fucked up shit. Oh my god. And this was generational. This was generation after generation, and they thought that they were keeping their bloodline strong. Can you imagine all the things we do today that we have no idea are awful and destructive and insane? But people just generationally do things, and it affects their lives in ways they are completely incognizant of. And only in hindsight, people are gonna go, oh, fuck, that's not good.
New World Order?
The end game of the agenda, which is the Nephilim agenda, is essentially
Cough, cough, vaping, cough. Oh, you should stop vaping. You're coughing a lot.
to exterminate the race.
Seriously, I think a lot of mental health stuff. If humanity survives into the future and we're able to be better than this, I really think that the state of mental health and how little we really take note of and understand how our development changes who we are as people, I think it's going to be seen as wild.
Of man and replace them on
I hope.
Earth. Okay. However, the agenda of the fallen angels, on the other hand, is to exterminate all life on Earth. They don't even care about their children. They're going to betray them. That's their plan because they're wicked, essentially, and they don't begin.
Yeah, so essentially then they're just trying to spark out divine creation.
Okay. I think they've been rambling long enough. We can move on.
I long for a boring, peaceful life. It seems all the elements for a peaceful life exist, but the problem is need, others' needs, my need. Others' needs are really annoying. I mean, everybody knows that being needy pushes people away, has the opposite effect, but sometimes we're the needy ones. You may live an independent life like I do, but you may place demands on life.
Interesting the way he's phrasing all of these things. Fenekagami says a theory or part of why teenagers are such hell to live with is because humans have an instinct when they start to sexually mature to leave the nest to prevent the risk of incest. I mean, that makes sense. I don't know.
I need life to be this
I think that's more of a general development about becoming less attached and dependent upon your parents, though. Less so than the incest thing. It's to get you to become more independent, because inevitably you have to be independent to survive. At least, you know, apart from your parents. We all rely on each other to degrees. I just mean, you know, you're not dependent in the way a child is dependent on a parent.
way or that way. I need people to be courteous, fair, honest. I need the economy to be good. I need the dollar to stabilize. I need to feel good. I need the truth. All stupid, all causing suffering. In Taoism, one of the fundamental and most important principles is acceptance. Allowing things to be, even allowing others to be needy. I need this video to be good. All laughable when really considered. So for this week, thank you. As always, I don't know, but let's see what we can discover.
Zytam says, I saw a video comparing Ptolemy, Egypt, and said their coefficient was so high he hadn't seen it outside of golden retrievers. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, a lot of political dynasties historically. Oh. How's Daniel Pratt doing? This droning reminds me of him a little, so I'm curious. He hasn't been posting a lot. Still a flat earther. Still not super thrilled about anything. But that's about it.
I love you all. God bless and welcome. Welcome. So here I am. What am I doing? I don't know. I'm looking for a bell. There's supposed to be a big bell here. Here it is. And where are we? Looks like a pretty modest village. Little shacks, like my house. Really not much. Usually we see a beautiful footprint, streets laid out, surveyed. Perfection. We don't see that here. We see a junk fest. These roads...
Fuck off! Is he about to get weirdly judgy about the lack of civil engineering in the developing world?
Roads suck, they're crooked, and then we see some really interesting, advanced looking structures, and no options for dropping the man. No man. Really, no streets. No streets, no man. But everything is...
Are people... this guy can't be younger than me based on his voice. Are people so dependent on like Google and Google Street View that they just expect it everywhere? I remember when you didn't have Google Street View like in your city. Like it was rare if you had that, and now he's acting like it's a conspiracy that they don't have it in this like isolated village wherever this is in the world.
Super cool here. Here's a photo. Click some pagoda. A pagoda. Pagoda is similar to a temple or a tomb. Very tomb-like. But here's what we get. This thing is sick. I mean, you wouldn't know from above. Look at this thing. Pagoda del Monte Meru. So this is like a Mount Meru. That's all. Here we go. Mount Meru. Let me flash a picture of Mount Meru. If you don't know, Mount Meru is the center of the realm. And here, somebody...
Oh, the Black Rock. He thinks, okay... He's talking about the fake mountain that he and CC and some other flat earthers think is at the center of the world.
This streetless village created this sculpture. Here it looks like water. Mount Meru is said to have 4 rivers that flow both in and out, and at the center a black magnetic rock. This thing is sick, and this is nothing. I just discovered this right now. Here's another one.
By the way, if you ever hear anyone calling the world a realm, that's a red flag. That's a big dog whistle a lot of flat earthers use now to signal to other flat earthers that they are are flat earthers without having to say it. So if you hear a content creator or TikToker or whoever call it a realm, red flag.
What's this? A little dirt road leading to it. Some people have built their little shacks right up to it. That's great. Maybe I could build a shack on this side and nobody would care. And not even a picture. Not even a damn picture. Not a man dropping. Kind of a secret. A secret pagoda. Mount.
It's a secret if it doesn't have Google Street View. Think about how paranoid you have to be to think something is a secret because you can't view it from the comfortability of your fat ass sitting in a fucking chair. I can say that, I'm fat. I was thinking about myself, not this person. The point is, I find it very funny when people confuse a lack of convenience for them personally to a secret. It's not a secret. You just can't see it on Google Street View. Jesus Christ. If you want to go there, you can.
Maru-like structures. And here's another one. Very similar. Building their houses right up to it. Let's give it a click. Oh, we see a gold top. Gold top. Thank God these people are modest. And where the hell are we? I mean, there's only like a couple hundred people around here. This is a bell. Pretty worthless if we can't drop the man. Maybe we can.
Look at him. He's still like, why can't I? Why can't I drop the man? I'm doing research. I'm doing very real research. Doesn't Google understand that I'm a very serious researcher and I need the little man? This is deranged.
Here we go. The bell is important. So now we're inside this temple or whatever, and here a little man wandering around unsupervised, and
That's a child, sir. We call those children, and I would imagine that there's a parent around somewhere.
have a bell. There we go. What a bell. Sitting here. Does it still ring? I don't know. This is one of the, if not the largest bell in the world out here in this streetlit village. As we can see,
I don't think that's the largest bell in the world.
here the bell was made
Are you just saying that, or is that like a claim that they're making?
in
'Cause I don't know if you know this, the Catholic Church has made some hella big bells in their day.
1810. Just sitting here. 200 years. How did this bell get here? Bell made in 1810, weighing 200,000 pounds. 200,000. 1,000 would be heavy enough to move around or hang 200 years ago. 200,000? 200 years and 200,000 pounds. Glorious. And it looks like they had steel. This metal. This is unbelievable. This
Yeah, they just said it was 200 years ago. When do you think they invented steel?
is uninterested. Perhaps he's shopping for new pants. But anyway, this bell. What a bell. Here she is hanging on these steel columns. And who would find themselves here? Really nothing. All dirt road. Just a backward place. Ruins.
A backward place? Oh my god, these people are such weird, like, Western chauvinists? What the fuck is this? It's like, does it not feel like there's some sort of weird, like, moral judgment on that? Like, ugh, look at these people who are probably victims of colonialism. Oh, they're fucking dirt roads. Like, I'm sorry that historically their communities were unable to take advantage of other communities globally in order to enrich themselves like our ancestors had the disgusting opportunity to do. Could you shut the fuck up?
Everywhere. Here's pagoda up here. No roads, no trail. I'm surprised they even marked it. And just cooked. Just totally cooked out. Just a little piece remaining. And then, of course, there's the big, I guess the famous, do I dare say famous, spot? And that would be this pagoda. Let's drop the man. And here we go. So what the hell is this? What is this? Where are we? What kind of
I would
food?
imagine it's some sort of religious site. I don't know the specifics of it, but it looks like it's significant culturally or religiously and very old.
Are they
Look this up.
serving here? Let's take a pause. Okay, so I knew what I...
What's the concept here? Scientific research by Google Map clicking. He's doing vibe history. He's doing vibe history.
was looking for, and my jaw is just hanging open. Stupid. I've looked at all of this before, and yet today it's brand new. Really personal. It's like I'm sitting here. What is this? We're told this is pagoda, a temple. The thing was once perfectly square, almost looking like natural in some part, like a mountain, but yet this is
Steve of the Q says the Minjan bell has been the heaviest functioning bell in the world at several points in history, but is not currently. Gotcha. That makes sense. It is a big fucking boy. Look at that thing. What's that? If there's a word for the feeling you get when something is so big it almost makes you uneasy. That's kind of how I feel about the bell. The Washington Monument did the same thing to me. There's a word for it. I'm blanking on it, though.
Brick. This is Brick, just sitting out here in this shanty town. Alright, let's get some
Megalophobia? That would make sense.
facts here. We are in a country called...
Seriously, though, when I went to the Washington Mall and stood, like, literally, a lot of people do this. I guess I don't know if they still do, but, like, people would, like, lay with their head right staring up at the Washington Monument, and it gives you, like, vertigo. It feels weird. It feels gross, and your brain tells you it's gonna fall on you. It didn't. The Washington Monument did not fall on me.
Myanmar.
Would have been a cool way to die.
Myanmar, and I think it used to be called Burma. Slowly, all nations
Myanmar.
will change their names, especially...
I mean, yes, that's... The borders of nations change. Nations themselves are a social construct. So as communities and their ideals and their identity changes over time, yeah, the name's gonna change. It's not nefarious. It's not a conspiracy. It's just a thing humans do because our collective identities shift over time. If you want a less serious answer, I will gesture towards the They Might Be Giants song, Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Especially these lesser known ones. I mean, we're out in the bush. This is some serious bush. Here's India over here to the left. No doubt this is, or was, part of India. We see the Himalayas right here, and China.
I was able to lock that one down. I'm sorry, did he say China?
India. We see the Himalayas right here, and China to the right.
China?
Right, so we're really sandwiched in here. As we saw, no roads along a river. And here we have the largest bell in the world, and the largest brick pile in the world. And we also have Mount Meruian art. As for the bell, it was the heaviest functioning bell in the world at several times in history. That's weird. Again, 200,000 pounds. And here we can see it in 1873. Many of you will recall this picture. And what is going on here? 1873. First of all, you'll notice the place looks a lot more lush, not as deserty as it does today. I mean, it looked really deserty. This is lush and overgrown.
Does this place have seasons? Was the Google Map picture taken in the dry season, but this picture was taken in the not dry season? Do people forget that seasons exist?
People are...
And to be clear, I don't know if that's what it is. There could also be something that had happened in the area where the land use policies maybe weren't so great because of colonialism, or other factors happened with climate change that have shifted it to be much drier here. Very possible. Kind of pisses me off that he doesn't even consider seasons as a thing, though.
Are not happy that newcomers have arrived. As you saw, even today, people are living all around these ruins. Nobody has cared for hundreds of years This place is forgotten. And it looks like a giant just hung.
What do you mean it's forgotten? It's literally people taking a photo of it and they're here. They haven't forgotten about it. The photo you're looking at is evidence that they had not forgotten about it.
This bell temporarily with these pretty large tree trunks. They definitely needed all of them. You can see it sagging a little. So it looks like they've rehung the bell. But even in the new photo, the metalwork looked old. So who's building this bell? Not these guys. These guys don't even have pants. Not a...
Alright, I gotta click off this video before I say some worse things about this terrible, terrible human being that's producing that video. Racist disbelief of historical achievements on the bingo card. Let's take a look at the bingo card. Where is racist disbelief of historical achievement go? That's a big one. Racist disbelief of historical achievement? Flat Earth? Thinly veiled anti-Semitism? Anything else? Do we think? We do not have Charisma Black Hole on the bingo card. If it did, I'd make it a free space because I'm the host. Anything? All right.
What if the history that we've all been told has hidden the truth about who we are, what we're doing here, and what has been here before us?
Was the previous video Ancient Wisdom? Sure, we can go with Ancient Wisdom.
Welcome to Sardinia, Italy, where we have located the giants of Monte Prama. After 4 excavation
Giants on the bingo card.
Campaigns carried out between 1975 and 1979, they found roughly 5,000 items underground. Pieces that belonged to the old world, including 15 heads and 22 torsos. For anyone who's been here, we know that there was more. They took these items and stored them for 30 years in the repositories of the National Archaeological Museum of Kali.
Where do you expect them to hold them? That's where artifacts go, is in a museum. Ideally, they go in a museum. Now, to be clear, I don't want them to be expropriated by colonists out of the countries that they're from. But, you know, ideally, they belong in a museum so that they're publicly available and also so that they can be researched by actual people in the field. And so they're kept safe in a place where they're not going to degrade further.
Yet again, they can give us any number they'd like. And we cannot verify this information. They can say 15 heads, and it could have been hundreds or even thousands for all that we know.
Does he understand that when they say heads, they don't mean like human heads?
Especially when they remove them from the site.
Because this is about like sculptures.
And store them for 30 years. What have they done to the originals after 3 decades? You tell me.
Looks like a little anime guy with like rosy cheeks. Adorable. Freyline with 40 bits says, me getting a picture in front of the Liberty Bell in a summer dress. Some asshole. These people couldn't have made this bell. They aren't even wearing pants.
Me. Again, we have shown that if we were to go and do the work of an archaeologist, that would be illegal in every...
Yes, because you would be destroying historical artifacts because you aren't trained and have no idea what you're doing. If you want to actually go out of your way to go and do this, then you should go and study archaeology so you can do so without damaging priceless artifacts. The thing is, though, I don't think you would pass the classes because you don't want to hear what we know about these things. You want to make up a bunch of conspiracy theories about them, which is exactly why you aren't allowed near them because you're gonna pervert these fucking artifacts into weird evidence of your nonsense conspiracies instead of taking a scientific approach and trying to actively dissuade yourself of your preconceived notions in order to best study an artifact.
Country. We can't just go find giant heads and remove them from everybody's view for 30 years. These people do that.
To be clear, you understand that they're more in view in the museum than they were underground, right? These people saved and preserved these things, and you're acting as though they stole them? What in the fuck?
That. And everybody's just fine with that. In fact, whatever they come up with is what's taught in schools. We study this, and then the kids get great.
I'm gonna comment on this, because I fucking hate this guy. Absolutely, Jesus, pardon my spelling, insane and delusional that you think you have the qualifications to unearth or study ancient artifacts. The reason you need to be qualified to do so is to stop psychos like you from destroying priceless pieces of history. Please get your head out of your ass, as that's the only head excavation you're qualified to do. And post. Fixing some typos. Boom, post.
Rated on it, and everybody's just fine with that. Until now, while only a few of the most important pieces were exhibited in the museum,
To be clear, I know that's not going to be convincing to anyone, it just makes me feel better. That was a completely selfish, made me feel better move. That's it.
Others, hidden from the public, of course, along with the statues. Other sculptures found at the site include large models of buildings and sacred stones, a site that was just found in the 1970s in Italy, our timeline, our civilization. And then Bobby, the history major, is gonna tell all of us that they just abandoned this site in the late 4th century BC.
If that's what the evidence shows, sure. Why do you think you know better than this hypothetical Bobby who actually studies this stuff? Because inevitably, you have less information than that person. That's a person who has access to primary source documents. You don't. You're just sitting here basing your beliefs off of conclusions already drawn by people who had access to those documents. You are downstream from the information, so any conclusions that you draw are inevitably going to be less accurate than the ones drawn from professionals upstream in the information, line. Jesus Christ.
2,400 years ago. Pinning it down. Not the
FBI announced they have a shooter in custody. Don't be trans, don't be trans, don't be trans, don't be trans, don't be trans. I'm just putting this out there. Fellow trans people out there, we know this. We're not allowed to do bad things. You shouldn't do bad things anyway because they're bad. But especially trans people aren't allowed to do bad things because when we do bad things, it's not just me doing a bad thing. It's a thing that people are going to look at and go, look at what trans people do. So please don't be a trans person, I'm begging you.
5th century BC, not the 3rd. Can you believe that this is just accepted by millions of people for so long? They just make up any date they'd like. We were all like...
They don't actually. They spend a lot of time doing their job to try and approximate dates for things. So maybe stop trying to shit on the work of people who have far more qualifications than you do, as in any qualification.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for figuring that out. Knowing all about the negative 3000s, because they tested that local leaf near the site. Built between the 11th and the 8th century BC. You know, between 2,700 and 3,100 years ago. But this is, of course, debated. Removing these from our timeline for so long.
Does he think that something being debated is controversial? That happens. We only have the information we have. The fact that something's up for debate doesn't make it suspect or, like, conspiratorial?
We know how they destroy the heads. Thousands of statues from the old world, hiding their true appearance, hiding what people actually looked like in the old world. A timeline that was here before our civilization started back up in the 17 and 1800s.
We have a lineage of our civilization that goes back much further than the 17 and 1800s. What? You could draw a line in theory from, like, the fucking Fertile Crescent, which is historically what we often do when we're talking about early human civilization. We go to the Fertile Crescent civilizations, and then you can go from there to where people go from there. What the fuck? There's not, like, a big gap where we're like, oh, who knows what people were doing at this period. There are periods we know more or less about, but it's not like there's a big gap where it's like, who knows where people went.
Remember, in order for limestone to look like this, you would have to go down to your basement and grab your hammer and then smack it and then hit it repeatedly to chip away at it. These two statues...
Or erosion? Are you familiar with the concept of erosion? Because that looks like it has been eroded over a long period of time. It does not look like it was chipped away at. It looks like it has, by and large, been eroded. Am I the only one who knows what erosion looks like?
And then hit it repeatedly to chip away at it. These two statues were found at the same location. There is clearly no weathering going on. This one on the right is showing us that something odd was going on with their faces. But that one might not have been showing enough to take a...
But, like, this is what I don't get. If they were trying to hide it, then why do you have a picture of it? That doesn't... You can't say they were trying to hide this and show me the picture they gave you. Obviously, they weren't trying to hide it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have posted the picture? That doesn't even make sense. What a psycho.
Hammer and smack it in the face. The one on the left has clearly been destroyed since finding it. And now I know for sure that we were correct about the hands. First off, this guy's head's destroyed. But take a look at his hands. His right hand is gone. These statues of the past, they depict what they knew about the world that they lived in. They are hiding the hands of the past from all of us.
Okay, so fun fact, if you're doing a sculpture of someone and you have hands, this part at the wrist is going to be a weak point because you have thin, thick. So when things erode, if it's a sculpture of an arm, there's going to be weight here, and this is going to thin quickest because this is the thinnest part. So stuff like this is going to come off. Now, also, there could be incidents of, like, grave robbing or things. I'm not, like, leaving those out. I'm just saying there's a perfectly rational explanation for why the extremities of these sculptures have fallen off. Because those parts erode quicker, because they're thinner. It's similar to, like, sorry, I lost my train of thought, but you know what I'm trying to say.
For one, because they either had 6 fingers, like we've shown, they were holding something of significance, or they were wearing something that would give it all away. And
It looks like they're wearing some kind of, like, a thing on their arm that looks like it's a hammer, like some kind of weapon that almost works like a hammer, that you have a handle and you wear it. Like Ash's chainsaw, but a hammer.
I guarantee that some of them had watches on as well as other things. Would any of us be shocked if they had an Apple Watch on?
Bracelets? What are those? Oh, look, he also has an Apple Watch on his forehead. That makes total sense, right? You know how you wear a smartwatch and then you also wear a smartwatch on your forehead? Is that the most rational way to interpret this image? Or are you reaching a little bit, you think? You think maybe you look like a dumbass on the internet for saying that? Maybe? Okay.
Me either. Imagine them finding these. Oh no, guys. We got 3 Apple Watches down over here. 4 over there? Oh my gosh. All right.
Conspiracy theorist thinks evidence is self-evident on the bingo card?
Bring these back to my office. I'm gonna need to get my hammer out for 30 years. The feet are gone too, and they probably had Nikes on.
Again, like, if he thinks archaeologists are all destroying evidence of their smartwatches, then why does he have a photo of that? You know what I mean? Like, he can't say they're hiding this from us. You had a photo of it. You showed a photo of it that an archaeologist took and shared. They're not hiding it. They're your source of information, you liar. You absolute huckster piece of fucking human trash. Sorry, I hate this guy. He has almost 250,000 subscribers, and I hate him for all the misinformation and bullshit he's spreading. I hope he sees this video and sees that other people know he's spreading this bullshit, you cynical fucking asshole.
Like I've said so many times, I personally trust what is depicted in the stonework from the old world.
And by trust what is depicted, he means I trust the stupid, insane conspiracy thoughts that pop into my brain when I look at pictures that were taken by actual trained archaeologists. But it's okay, guys. He's got a YouTube channel, so he knows what he's talking about. He can just vibe it out. Going to college, reading books. What are you, a pussy? A nerd? You read books to gain knowledge? Fucking gay?
Rather than what some random guy is telling me.
Can you tell I'm on my absolute last nerve about the strain of anti-intellectualism in this goddamn country? I'm just done with these people. I used to have so much empathy, and now I just want to mock them and give them swirlies. I'm just so tired of these people who are so insecure about their own lack of understanding that they have to manufacture fake understanding to make themselves look better. To whom? I don't know, but it seems to be pretty consistent, and I hate it.
Me about the site. A guy that was born in the 1900s, telling me all about the negative 3000s. No thanks. And I am...
He's closer to it than you were, and also he's trained, you know, and not a dipshit YouTuber. I say this as a dipshit YouTuber. We can smell our own, and I smell you like fucking crazy.
I'm shocked that these are being shown to us. Depictions of the past, in my
You shouldn't be shocked. They're not hiding anything. You're just an idiot.
opinion. Showing
This is the catharsis part of the episode where I'm just mean.
us that there were individuals here, where we all live, that don't look anything like we do today. Yet again, elongated heads.
Sir, do you understand how human depictions are? They're not often accurate, especially when you go back far enough. The idea of having photorealistic depictions of human beings, either in like painting, drawing, or sculpture, is a relatively recent development in human artistry. Historically, you've often had much more stylized depictions of human beings, because, again, we weren't really capable or didn't have the tools or knowledge in order to have anatomically correct human depictions, typically.
Massive horns. It's just art, of course. Right. These small figures have helped to reassemble the
Green guy says, Hannah, do you have any pie to eat after stream to unwind like last time? No, we ate all the pie. Thanks for asking.
Giants, because of their similar features. Horns.
YouTubers have a distinct smell. Yeah, it's desperation and the lack of attention our parents gave us as children that caused us to develop strange desires to get attention from strangers, to fill the hole in us that'll never truly be complete. Fenekagami says, don't feel bad, Hannah. It's the tolerance paradox. We tolerated people's stupidity for so long that now non-crazy people aren't safe. We need to become intolerant of people's intentional ignorance and stupidity so that maybe one day our society can heal. I don't know how effective it is. I don't know how effective anything is.
Elongated heads. It's very interesting. Again, telling us all about the pottery. Saying, aside from the pottery, excavations haven't found much. Recovering very few finds. Yeah, right. Telling us that...
What do you mean, yeah, right? Like, it's so strange how he'll be like, look at these things they found. If you're this distrustful, why do you think any of this is real? Like, if you're this distrustful of archaeologists, then why do you think you've ever seen a single thing that was actually excavated from anywhere? You know what I mean? He's so selectively skeptical in order to shape a narrative that makes him able to be the secret truth teller that deciphers the truth between the lines. When in reality, if you were manufacturing this stuff, you would never show anything even close to real. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy that allows him to feel special and smart and like he's discovering something. It's really sad. And it's gonna make a lot of people stupider.
That they found 5,000 depictions of the past in the 1970s, and then removing them from us for 30 years, storing them, and then destroying so many of them, in my opinion. Oh.
In my opinion, aka, I made this up. I just said it. I have no evidence for it, but I'm so overconfident in my own thoughts that I'll just say it. Because I don't give a fuck about reality.
Did I forget to tell you? These statues are over 8 feet tall. Giants that depict a
Oh my god, can you guys believe that no one talks about how Abraham Lincoln was a giant? Have you seen the Lincoln Memorial? He could have single-handedly stopped the Civil War by kicking Atlanta's shit in himself. Sometimes we build statues that are bigger than real people. In fact, usually that's what statues are for. When they're like big public displays, usually they're bigger than the people. Because for whatever reason, humans see big and think important. So we usually make them bigger.
Different history than what we've all been told. I believe we are exposing what the history and what the individuals of the
well, your beliefs are wrong and you should feel ashamed of yourself and actually read a book.
Past truly looked like after the destruction. Restoration project was carried out from 2007 to 2012. The 25 statues that they're telling us about, some warriors, archers, and boxers, have been exhibited to the public. But before this, the public was blocked off from these items. Once it is blocked off from the public, this is the second that the rest of the story that they want to tell me, it becomes irrelevant. You cannot take items in the back away from all of us and then come back and tell me that these are the originals. You don't.
They can and they do all the time. Does he understand that most of the things that museums have in their possession are not displayed publicly? Most of them are usually archived and studied by PhDs in their respective fields. Because, frankly, not everything that's discovered archaeologically is something that is... How do I put this? I'm not trying to diminish the historical importance of, like, a random pottery shard. You could, in theory, learn something from it, and it is an invaluable piece of history. But, like... There's 10 trillion pottery shards out there, and not all of them are incredibly interesting to look at. You know what I mean? So not everything is something that's worthy to display that's going to interest people. So that's why collections in museums are curated, right? There's literally museum curators, and their jobs are to find displays and artifacts that are interesting, that are either in the museum's possession or that can be loaned from other museums to bring into the collection that people might find interesting enough to come into the museum and learn about them, right? It's an intentional, like, display. There's a whole, like, I don't want to call it a business. What am I thinking of? There's a whole job to this and curating collections, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it's weird that he's acting as though that is nefarious. It's not. When you're having a museum, when you have artifacts to display, you need to make decisions about what is going to be displayed and what's going to be stored. Because it can't all be displayed. There's just too much. And there'd be too crazy of a signal-to-noise ratio.
Get to do that. It doesn't work like that. And then tell me to trust what the same people are telling us about 3,000 years ago.
Don't trust anyone then. Be a fucking maniac. Be a loser psycho on the internet that never trusts anyone. And that's fine. Other people are going to judge you for that, and you're probably not going to have a very enjoyable life full of understanding because you're always going to go down the wrong paths because you view everything through a lens of paranoia. It's going to be a pretty shitty life, but that's your call. Go for it, bud.
That is not the way an investigation works. Removing evidence and making up your own story. And
what are you talking about? No, that's exactly what happens. If you have a crime scene, you get people who are trained to collect the evidence, and then you bring it back to a crime lab, and trained professional scientists or lab techs investigate the evidence. That's exactly what happens. What are you talking about? In his example, what? Do you think the public should be able to come into the crime scene and touch all the evidence and go, I have my own theories about this? Oh yeah, I hit him with the bud. Bud is basically the N-word for white people. We've not had a very hard time of things.
And anyone questioning this ridiculous narrative that this sketchy group just pulled out of their... just made up, questioning...
Amber says it's called public history when a historian goes into curation and museum management. There are specific history degrees for it. Thank you. I didn't have that in my mind, so I'm glad that I know that word now. Public history. Hell yeah. That sounds like a great job. If I could go back and redo things, let me tell you, I'd do something more productive than this. Would it be as fun? I don't know, but maybe that's not the bar I should be judging by, you know?
Them marks you as an outsider. Well, guess what? Closing my eyes and blindly trusting this narrative that keeps secrets from all of us for 30 years in the basement. This didn't make it into my DNA. And I have a feeling I'm not the only one. Finding this site in the 1970s and finally allowing the exhibition to become accessible to the public in 2011. This is incredible. Taking nearly 40 years. This is not to preserve truth.
Hey man, if you want it to be quicker, then maybe you should vote for people to put more money into the humanities. Because I don't know how to break it to you guys. But, like, as badly as STEM is getting treated by the current administration, humanities fields get treated by that by the government constantly. I don't know if you know this, the government seems to fucking hate history and reading and sociology. I don't know, man. It seems to me like if you don't promote the humanities in your country, you might end up really fascist and full of people who have no empathy or understanding of their own history or identities, but there's no evidence of that, at least, so that's good.
This is prep work for mass.
I don't know what he's doing with the weird glitchy video editing. I have no idea what stupid point he's trying to make.
Manipulation. And this is exposed now. Again, we are correct. It is more than 25 statues. It always is. And they aren't going to give us the true number. But we know that there are more. especially.
You don't know that. You believe that based on paranoid conspiracies. You literally just feel it, because your feelings are so important. This white man's feelings are better than any evidence to ever exist, because he feels it, and he's important. I'm mocking him, because he's a bitch. I really need my meds. Fenekagami says, this is like what Taylor Lorenz has been dealing with over her Wired articles about dark money and liberal content spaces. Her critics keep asking why won't she release the contracts she was given, like a bunch of internet receipt-brained idiots don't understand how journalism works.
When we're told that according to the most recent estimates, the total has gone up to a total of 44 statues. Not
great. Cool. So there were more. Rad.
25 anymore. And I guarantee there's more in the back. So when
I don't know. I don't know how well they're cataloging them, sir.
They say
if it was a conspiracy and they were hiding them, why did they find more?
The exhibition has become permanently accessible to the public.
Not doing the Charlie Kirk thing. We're going to cover it tomorrow. I want to get a lot of his content curated. Word's already in my brain. It's like it's already loaded in the RAM, so I gotta use the word curated. No, tomorrow we're gonna do a Chud Watch in memoriam of Charlie Kirk, and we're gonna cover a lot of his takes. Probably a lot on gun control. So tune in tomorrow for that shit show.
Remember, there are more being stored, as we were told, in the back. We are dealing with a bunch of liars, and they are terrible at it. We are picking these stories apart.
Oh, that's a fake photo. Do you think that putting this photoshopped photo in your video makes you seem legitimate instead of a liar? Like, did he think that this makes him look good just lying with a fucking photoshopped image? It's not even well photoshopped. Like, what's the perspective on the square of, like, tape? Are we in an isometric view, or what is this? Like, do you see how bad this is? And he puts this on, and he fucking calls actual archaeologists liars? This guy should be in fucking jail. Okay, to be clear, he hasn't done anything illegal, but if I was in charge, this would be illegal. Literally going out of your way to trick people and lie to them to manipulate them into believing in conspiracy theory. In Hannah world, this man should be in jail. I know that's harsh. Nonetheless, it's where I am emotionally, so.
Part every single week. They are being exposed. And
I like that in the Photoshop, they had the archaeologist stick his foot on the skull, too. Like, can you imagine if an archaeologist just stuck their foot on a fucking artifact? That's not how anything works.
I believe it's time that their supposed research in the back, their restoration projects, all of it, it needs to be transparent to the public. From the second that they find these...
Ooh, another bad Photoshop. Wow.
Old world items, until they are set on display, there should never be a closed door to any item that was just found. According to the most recent estimates, once the restoration has been completed, it is planned to return the majority of the finds to be displayed in a museum. The majority, not all. This restoration.
Okay, I assume they're gonna keep some of them in their possession for studying.
Project should be a live stream. We should all be able to see what's going on right now. This is a plan, by the way.
You wouldn't understand it, even if you did.
To return the majority of them to the people. It's the plan.
Like, does he understand he's not doing research? He's heckling. Does he understand the difference between research and heckling? Because he's not actually providing any new information or research. He's just looking at things other people did and going, I don't believe you, fuck you. Like, this isn't research. This is just being mad. And that's the same thing I'm doing, to be clear. I am heckling these people. I am not ignorant to that. But, like, I know what I'm doing. I'm mocking people who deserve to be mocked. Because that's my role in all of this, right? Is to be a skeptic that makes fun of people who deserve it in the hopes that at least someone sees it and goes, oh, this is bullshit. But he thinks he's legitimate. He thinks he's really doing something here. And that's fucking sad.
But nothing's set in stone, as they say. A man named Giovanni Liliu was indeed involved in politics. He served as the regional councillor in Sardinia during the exact same years that they found this site, from 1969 to 1974. So who is telling all of us all these dates of 3,750 to 3,300 BC? Who's
Archaeologists.
telling us this stuff anyway?
Archaeologists that are having their work peer-reviewed by other archaeologists.
Wouldn't be the political figure, right? No,
No.
it couldn't be. We're the first sculpture in Sardinia. These ones right here are much...
Fenigami says it wouldn't matter if they live-streamed the restoration process, they'd find another excuse to not believe the research. Look at flat earthers in the International Space Station. Yeah.
more ancient than the statue.
Just a peach with a tip. Let me see where it is. Says, does he want his own embalming live streamed with black boxes? That's what I want.
That we've been discussing today. Wow. Even older ones? That's so cool. This is amazing.
That is cool. I wish you weren't being facetious, because it is cool.
Even older ones that date back 5,770.
Imagine all the artifacts that we'll never have because they've degraded over time to the point that they're basically dust and no longer exist. Human beings have been human beings for like 200,000 years at our current estimates. Can you imagine all of the things that have ever been created? The sculptures, the pottery, that we just don't know about.
4 years.
To be clear, I understand that pre-agriculture there would be far fewer things, and it would be wooden, so there's a reason we don't have it, but you know what I mean.
Wait, who is telling us this? Giovanni Liliu? Wait, what? A political figure? The regional councillor in Sardinia is telling all of us about the year negative 5,700.
Why do you think that because he's the one that said it in the... Oh, wait. Archaeologist Giovanni Liliu. It just says archaeologist.
174. This has got to be the end of your trust in the mainstream narrative. Knowing that a political figure in Italy was busy getting his hands on the narrative. Does that...
But it said that just because he said it doesn't mean he discovered it. What?
Not just stick the dagger in it. Oh, and the other guy, this guy thinks it's from 8,000 years ago.
Again, that's an archaeologist. These are both listed as archaeologists. These are both listed as archaeologists. It says it right here.
I don't know. What do you all think? You think these are from 5,000 years or 8,000?
No one in your audience has the qualifications to make that call. They don't even have physical access to these things, and they don't have the knowledge base. Is this what people think being a researcher is? Is just being like, what do you think about this, fellow dipshits? Let's sit on the couch and drink beer and fucking watch South Park, and we never have to think ever again. We never have to do any actual research. We just gotta, whatever the first thing that pops into our brains, that's how we do it. Just anything in order to not better yourself as a person or exert any effort mentally.
I was thinking more like 50,000. You gotta look at the side right there. It really does give it all away. By the way, they never find these things in the 1500s. They never find them in the 1400s. They find it in the 18 and 1900s every single time.
Is he aware that, like, archaeology is a relatively recent thing? Like, this is not, like, in the 1400s, there wasn't a concerted effort in the same way to research and preserve these things. That's not how the culture worked. That's not how people thought of humanity. It's not a thing. Fennikagami says, heck, a reason why we believe the myth of pre-colonial America was a, quote, untamed wilderness other than just white supremacy is that a lot of Native American architecture was biodegradable, so it's harder to find the remains of their civilizations. We found some, though.
Our timeline. The Finder
Don't you know it's not a civilization unless it destroys the wilderness?
is finding this in 1949. Finding these following an excavation inside
Civilization is when you're a cancer on the environment.
of a cave, where this gets interesting. It was not found in the pile of other artifacts. It was found imprisoned in a mass of bone breccia. This is a deposit of fragments of bones, of vertebrae, all found inside this cave. We all know that they found so much more, especially when
You
they
don't know that! Okay, I'm gonna move on, because this goes on for way longer, but he's just, again, he just says, we know, when really he means, I have emotions about this, and I think I'm smarter than I am. What is... Oh!
Having trouble sleeping at night?
This
Me
one
too.
looks weird.
Then I got these.
These are Z-Tops
Sorry,
Cleansing
ad.
Foot Pads from Simple Promise.
How Chuck Norris roundhouse kicks aging.
Getting old is for the weak. Let me tell you a
AI.
little bit about myself. Some of you know this story.
You are not who you think.
Imagine your demographic when Chuck Norris is your celebrity endorser. Ugh.
You are, and neither was Jesus. You are not who you think you are, and neither was Jesus.
This is one of those videos that's basically a trap for people with psychological issues who really want to be special and in on some super secret thing. So it provides that narrative to them.
The man history calls the Christ had two faces.
Uses AI on the bingo card.
The public teacher who spoke in safe parables to protect the masses from truths they couldn't handle, and the private initiator who revealed explosive secrets to his inner circle, secrets so dangerous they could have gotten him killed on the spot.
Oh, thank goodness he didn't do that, otherwise Jesus would have gotten killed. Can you imagine if that happened, how history would have gone down? Whew!
Tonight, you discover why you were never meant for the crowds, why something in your soul has always hungered for the forbidden knowledge, why you felt like a stranger in every church, every religion, every spiritual system you've encountered. You are one of the flame bearers, one of the hidden ones, one of the few.
You're not mentally ill and isolated from other people because you find it difficult to interact and relate to others. You're super special! We really need support for people. Holy shit. Can you imagine if we supported people who had issues? Oh my god.
Few souls alive who can handle what Jesus only taught in private. What you're about to receive was whispered in upper rooms while guards stood watch, shared only when the masses dispersed and darkness fell, hidden for 2,000 years because the world wasn't ready. But the awakening ones, they recognize the codes instantly, and what you're about to learn will shatter everything you thought you knew about your divine nature. Picture this. Jerusalem sleeps under starlight. The crowds who came for miracles and bread have returned to their ordinary lives, but 12 souls remain by the dying embers, their faces illuminated by firelight and something deeper, the glow of those about to receive forbidden truth. These aren't the holy saints tradition has painted them as. They smell like fish and sweat and humanity.
AI is not as poetic as it seems to think it is. They smell of fish and sweat and humanity.
Tax collectors despised by society, women who've shattered every religious rule, doubters and deniers and broken-hearted seekers. Yet Jesus looks at them, with eyes blazing with otherworldly fire, and whispers, "To you it has been given to
Is Jesus giving them the penance stare?
know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven,
Those apostles were serving fishy realness.
But to them,
apparently they smelled like ass.
it has not been given. Why them? Why not the scholars who memorized every scripture? Why not the priests who performed every ritual perfectly? For the crowds he spoke in parables, safe stories about...
No, this isn't, I assume when you say Bruce Wayne, you mean, Kevin Conroy. That's not his voice. It's some AI voice, but I don't think it's based off him. One who reads, thanks for tier 1, 6 months in advance, says, I saw a fish sweat open for humanity at twilight.
About seeds and vineyards. What? But when darkness fell and only the inner circle remained, the veils dropped. The real teachings emerged.
Good ways to catch AI writing is it always describes things in 3. That's not an uncommon trope in general. I use that a lot, for instance, in jokes, because rule of 3s. Setup, pattern establishment, subversion. Rule of 3s. I imagine AI picks up on that pattern in writing, because that's also just how people write a lot of things in general, because it's easy. The
codes that would change seekers into finders. Close your eyes for 5 seconds. Feel yourself crossing the threshold from the crowds into the circle. This is your initiation moment. You're not watching this, you're receiving this. To these beautiful, flawed souls, Jesus revealed the most dangerous truth of all. You will do greater works than I have done. Not different works, not lesser works, greater works. Because what he accomplished in one lifetime, his awakened circle would help accomplish across an entire planet. But the first secret he shared with them would destroy every religious assumption about where divine power actually lives.
Okay. That's probably enough from that AI video.
When faking space goes wrong. Deplane. Today we're going
Well, at least his references are hip.
to be entertaining 2 short clips. 1, an official clip from NASA, and 2, a physical demonstration that can be tested and verified by all. After entertaining these 2 clips, all of you will see the space industry is nothing but a fraud. So let's have a look. So first up, we got the Space Shuttle Discovery supposedly returning from space. Remember, we're told these shuttles are gliders. But you're about to see and hear this Space Shuttle Discovery is a jet aeroplane coming into land. Look.
1 minute now to touchdown. Discovery's landing gear will be locked down and into place at
Is this the one Simon Dan took apart? I don't know. I haven't caught up with Simon Dan in months.
300 feet in altitude. It's currently 3,500 feet and traveling at a rate of 370 miles per hour.
Can't say that. Can't say it's good news. Not allowed. You can be indifferent to it. You cannot be happy about it. Those are Twitch rules. This is my job. I need to enforce Twitch rules to have a job.
30 seconds until touchdown.
Have I ever told you guys that being a Twitch streamer and moderator of my own channel feels like being a babysitter sometimes for kids who keep touching the stove?
How obvious does it need to get?
You can have ice cream. Stop touching the stove or I'm gonna get fired.
Landing gear now down and locked.
Imagine trying to
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure what he thinks he's illustrating here.
Landing gear now
Like,
down
this is exactly how you would expect it to land? given what we know about shuttles? Like, what's... Like, it's designed to land similar to an airplane, correct? That doesn't make it an airplane.
Imagine trying to defend that as being a glider with that racket going on.
Okay, yeah, he thinks all the noise is... Okay, I gotcha.
Main gear touchdown. Pilot Jim Dutton now deploying the drag chute. Nose gear touchdown. That brings an end to the STS-131.
You miss space shuttles. I have a nostalgia for the aesthetic of a space shuttle because I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, and that was like a big deal, and whenever you'd see, you know, NASA stuff, it would have shuttles. But the space shuttle program never was really... How do I put this? The space shuttle program was a problem, and it never really worked the way that it was intended to. It was a too many cooks in the kitchen situation. They wanted it to be a vehicle for space that could do everything, and it ended up doing none of those things very well. At least that's my understanding of the shuttle program. So I get it. I'm nostalgic for it as well, and the idea of having one that can land like a plane, pretty cool. But yeah, it was never as effective as NASA was hoping it was going to be, unfortunately.
The 131st Space Shuttle flight and the 33rd to the International Space Station. Discovery left Florida on April 5th with 7.6 tons of new science equipment and spare parts, including equipment that should improve the station's capability for Earth observation work, equipment that could help astronauts avoid muscle.
Yeah, so it just landed like a plane, and I guess he thinks that's suspicious, even though it's not.
A funny thing happened on the way to space. Now I say space very loosely. Today, I'm going to show you what I think the space shuttle actually was. But before I do that, we've got to strip the space shuttle bare and expose it for all to see. And then it's going to make it easy and obvious, even for space fans to see. I'm going to show you how silly the space shuttle program was. I'm going to use footage from the very first ever space shuttle mission, STS-1. We join the action as the space shuttle is supposedly doing 17,500 miles an hour around the globe Earth. They've just opened their cargo doors and they're about to do an inspection.
Okay.
So let's have a look.
Cool.
Okay, we want to show you our own pod here. We do have a few tiles missing off of both of them, off of the starboard pod. 3 tile and some smaller pieces, and off the port pod, looks like I see one full square, and looks like a few little triangular shapes that are missing, and we're trying to put that on TV right now. Roger, Grip, we can see that good.
So that's not good. As you can see, several of the tiles, the heat tiles, which protect the space shuttle against extreme temperatures during re-entry, several of those tiles are actually missing.
He's aware that that was like a known issue with the shuttles, right? Which led to disaster that led to the deaths of like 4 or 5 astronauts and a teacher. Like, this was a known issue with some of these fucking heat-resistant plating things. I don't want to get too far into it, but...
Yeah, really not good. And quite revealing.
Like, this is not... How do I put this? This is not him accidentally revealing that the space shuttle isn't real. It's him revealing a very real problem that it had that did lead to deaths because there was less due diligence that needed to happen with it.
And this is where it starts to get sillier.
Columbia, not Challenger, sorry.
And
sillier.
I'm over at Google.
I got my shuttle explosions transposed.
The space shuttle tiles attached. The tiles were not mechanically fastened to the vehicle, but glued. Since the brittle tiles could not flex with the underlying vehicle skin, They were glued to Nomex felt strain isolation pads with...
I do want to point out, I think when he hears the word glue, he's picturing Elmer's glue, or super glue even, or even Gorilla Glue, when in reality they were using, I would imagine, a specifically designed adhesive meant to, at least in theory, withstand the intense, like, rigorous dangers and pressures of, like, going into space, the temperatures and everything. If I had to guess.
room temperature vulcanizing silicon adhesive.
Lack of pressure, rather.
Which in turn glued to the orbiter's skin. So essentially that's a lot of fancy names to describe essentially these tiles were glued to the orbiter.
Densetsu says, we use super glue instead. Danny DeVito, Matilda.
Oh dear. So back with the original clip and an extra clip regarding the aluminium skin that lies underneath these ceramic tiles that protect the space shuttle.
Okay, we want to show y'all here. We do have a few tiles missing off of both of them, off of the starboard pod, three tile and some smaller pieces, and off the port pod. Looks like I see one full square and looks like a few little triangular shapes that are missing, and we're trying to put that on TV right now. Roger, Grip, we can see that good.
The aluminum skin will melt at 320 degrees. The silicate tiles must insulate the vehicle from the tremendous heat.
So the aluminium skin that's underneath these tiles will melt when it's exposed to temperatures greater than 320 degrees. And that's a major problem when we're looking at this old school footage from STS-1. Because essentially, we've now got parts of the space shuttle that are exposed. They're weak links in the chain, if you like, where we've got the aluminium skin not protected by a heat tile. What makes it worse now, the temperatures during re-entry. NASA have told us it's around about 3,000 degrees.
I'm just going to put this out there. Right now it feels like his entire argument is, can you believe human beings make mistakes even when they have budgets? Yes, I can believe that. I do believe that. That's what happened.
Which would be...
Like, I don't understand, like, in his head, if this is fake, why would they have faked it failing? You know what I mean? Like, why go to the trouble of faking failures like this? It doesn't make a ton of sense.
Terrible for this situation which we see on our screen right now. But they're ranging from anything from 3,000 degrees from NASA all the way up to 9,000 degrees from a NASA legend, a space shuttle legend, Gibson, who had this to say about temperatures regarding re-entry.
Start hitting the Earth's atmosphere because you'll start to see a little bit of a glow outside your window. It's white hot outside. It's just as bright as day. And the air outside is 9,000 degrees. Well, that's hotter than the surface of the sun.
Just think about it logically. If this thing was coming back in at 17,500 miles an hour, yeah? The moment it hit the Earth's atmosphere and started to feel resistance from the air, and of course friction, and of course high temperatures, the lack of aerodynamics here due to the missing tiles would cause...
The primary problem wasn't the aerodynamics. Oh my god. Oh my god.
serious problem.
Does he think the aerodynamic... Whatever.
The glue would fail. The aluminium skin would melt underneath the tiles that are not even there. The hot air would get underneath these tiles here and rip them off, exposing more of the aluminium skin, and this aircraft would just disintegrate. That's at 3,000 degrees, yet alone the 9,000.
Kind of looks like you're about to go into my head like Psychonauts, I just realized. That's...
Who was on about? Doesn't matter who's right, whether it's NASA or the NASA legend. coming back in at 17,500 miles an hour, hit an atmosphere. These tiles would be ripped off the back. The temperatures would just melt the aluminium skin. This thing would have essentially just been burnt to pieces. For anyone,
it literally happened once. It literally happened. It was a catastrophic failure.
claiming, oh, they fixed it before they returned.
Okay. I gotta be done with him now because he's pissing me off. Do 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 do. Now that we're done with that, quick cleanse explainer why the re-entry goes the way it does, both for Apollo and the shuttles. Sure, we'll probably be done after this.
This is Harvey Allen, and in the 1950s he was tasked with designing the Earth re-entry vehicle for NASA. Now, if you look at like lunar landers, I mean, it's easy. You just flat sides, spindly bits. Don't worry about making it aerodynamic at all. There's no air there, right? But coming back to Earth, you've got to think about air a lot, because you are traveling at such high speeds, many, many times faster than the speed of sound, that the air gets compressed so quickly that it generates these ungodly temperatures, right? Like 3,000 degrees centigrade, way, way higher than the melting point or destruction point of basically any material that we knew. The early ideas for these re-entry vehicles were like, well, maybe we'll make them like rockets, right? Like we kind of have a sort of needle that like pierces.
People now have an overarching narrative and it's made them boring. Oh my god, you're so right. The 2020s have allowed conspiracy theorists to come together and create an actual conspiracy theory of everything that at least broadly can take any conspiracy and include it within it, and they've become as boring as real life because they're consistent. And when you make everything consistent and an average of everyone's conspiracy theories, it almost grays it out and gets boring. Does that make sense? It's all samey. It's just all the same vague paranoia.
Through the air and has as little drag as possible, make it super streamlined and get through it as quickly as possible. But the thing is, these temperatures are so massive, these speeds are so huge that the numbers just were not adding up, right? Anything was just going to be burnt to a frazzle, vaporized on re-entry. And then Harvey had this genius idea, right? He was like, okay, well, when something is streamlined, all of that flow, all of that heat is happening right next to the skin of the vehicle. But if you have something that's unstreamlined, you could create this sort of buffer, this kind of like protective blanket that could wrap around the re-entry vehicle and just take some of that heat away. In aerodynamic circles, the opposite of streamlined is called a bluff body. It's generally not a compliment. But here is the point, right? If you re-enter the atmosphere with something that's basically like a flat wall, the air cannot escape quick enough, can't get out the way quick enough, and so it acts like this cushion on the front of the vehicle. And you get a much bigger shockwave, you get way more friction, way more drag, but crucially, it's all happening away from the skin of the vehicle. It's kind of directed around it. Plus, double win, all of that drag slows down your vehicle much quicker than otherwise. Now, he was convinced that this would work. Was met with quite a lot of resistance at first. That was a dad joke. But the Russians soon cottoned onto this, and they started creating these spherical vehicles. And then eventually...
Yeah, sorry, I know you guys could see me responding to that, but it was annoying the fuck out of me. I made a typo, and they made a big deal out of it.
On this, like,
that's the internet. You can't have typos. People flip their shit.
Iconic cone-shaped re-entry vehicle, where it comes in flat side down, like belly flopping into the Earth's atmosphere. And then even in later years, the space shuttle, which looks a bit more like a plane, it would come in sort of tummy side first. And then once it had slowed down enough to fly like a plane, it would tilt over and it would go nose first. And, you know, I just think there is something very lovely about that, right? This is like one of the most sophisticated aerospace bits of engineering in history, and it's about as aerodynamically sophisticated as a manhole cover. It just pleases me.
Cute. Okie dokie. I think I'm gonna skip the trailer. I do want to watch this, but trailers have been iffy in terms of copyright lately, so I'm gonna avoid playing this on stream. Though I do think it looks interesting. I have actually seen that trailer now that I've seen the thumbnail. Anyway, so thanks everyone for hanging out. I appreciate it for another Tinfoil Tuesday, or Wednesday in this case. Tomorrow I will be back to talk about the Charlie Kirk situation. I don't know what else to call it. That's maybe a little... maybe minimalizing it, calling it the Charlie Kirk situation is crazy. No, but we'll cover that tomorrow and probably look at some of his poorly aged gun control takes. So we'll do that tomorrow. Please behave tomorrow when we do that. Again, we gotta strike a balance here. It will be interesting. We will talk about hypocrisy. We will talk about legacy and how you could just be so wrong. But we're also not going to break Twitch TOS, okay? We're going to behave like good little boys, girls, and non-binary folks, okay? Everyone going to behave for babysitter Hannah? You gotta. I'll make you. Okay. Let's see who we're going to raid. Probably Tea Time Tea, thank you for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know Little Miss May is streaming, and Mr. Blast asked me to raid, so I shall do so. Thank you again, Tea Time Tea, for those 10 subs. Much appreciated. All right. Have a great night, everyone. I'm going to go eat some pizza. Because I am alive, and I get to enjoy things like pizza, being a living person currently, which is pretty cool. Feel pretty bad for anyone who can't enjoy pizza tonight. All right, see y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna go floss. Wait, can I do it on camera? Can I? What do the kids do? Do they do this? Dun 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 dun. It was embarrassing, but I'm alive, so I'll take it. All right, bye.